Now, if you haven't determined that God does not exist, then how could you determine whether or not all facts are not related to him? You would first have to determine that God does not in fact exist. Consequently, therefore, nothing could stand in causal relations to him. How did you determine that all facts that you're acquainted with do not stand in causal relations to God without first determining God does not exist? How did you do that, Dr. Krauss?
Well, because I don't claim to know everything. And that's the main point. Science doesn't claim to know the answer like people who
I didn't ask you a scientific question.
Okay, now you're interrupting me. You want me to answer?
So you don't like that?
Okay, there's no sense having this discussion. Thanks.
Yeah.
No, I asked you a legitimate question. You didn't answer it.
Darth, he's not interested.
How did you determine?
Darth, he's not interested. I'm not interfering. Professor Krauss says he doesn't.
No, I'll answer. You just mute him and I'll answer.
Yeah.
Okay. The point is that as I tried to say to you before, I never argued that God doesn't exist. But the question you're asking, it's like saying to me, I cannot describe the universe until I prove that unicorns don't exist.
But you didn't address my question.
I can somehow describe. Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Got him.
That's it. And my point is that
causal relations to God.
If you are arguing that God is necessary for the universe to exist, I can't argue against that claim. But there's no empirical evidence for the claim.
I didn't make an argument to you, Dr. Krauss. Position.
Okay,
all of the facts.
Just a minute.
No, it's okay.
Stop muting, Darth. Stop muting, Darth, guys. I promised I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just a second.
You promised I wouldn't get muted.
No, okay? Go on. Just a second. Okay,
Dr. Krauss.
Just give me a minute, Darth. Give me a minute. Okay. So, Professor, let me try to reorder this. Okay. So, Professor Krauss, the mods, please don't mute Darth as long as he isn't rude. So, he wants to ask you a question. Darth, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Krauss, I don't believe that you really addressed my question. You talked around it. You stated there's no evidence for God, which is the equivalent of saying that all the facts that you're acquainted with do not stand in causal relations to God. How did you determine that all facts do not necessitate God? Have you determined what is ultimate and fundamental?
I'm saying all the facts I know. I don't know the whole point of being a scientist is that I don't know all the facts in the universe. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth being a scientist because there would be nothing to learn. There's more we don't understand about the universe than we do.
You're not addressing the question.
Hold up. But based on everything we know about the universe, we can, just like if I take a ball and throw it in the air, Newton's laws will be sufficient for me to understand its trajectory. I don't have to know about whether the person who threw it is Democrat or Republican or white or black.
Stop cutting them off.
Well, then I guess I don't understand.
You're talking around it. I'll repeat the question. How did you determine that all the facts that you're acquainted with do not necessitate standing in causal relations to God? How did you determine that?
Because the predictions that those facts produce theories which give predictions which give complete explanations.
That does not address the question, Dr. Krauss, at all.
Right, okay? It doesn't, which is one of the reasons
if God is defined as what is ultimate and fundamental to all possibility and impossibility, and you say all facts do not stand in causal relations to that fundamental thing, God, I want to know, how did you determine that? Can you answer that, please?
Well, the point, the answer is that you're inventing something, a term, you're making an assumption that something is fundamental and necessary. How do you know something?
Oh, so you don't believe that there's anything ultimate or fundamental, sir?
There may not be. I don't know.
Okay, so then if nothing is fundamental or ultimate, you are in a chance world. And if you're in a chance world, anything can happen. And if anything can happen, that destroys intelligibility. Do you believe that chance is ultimate, sir?
Yes.
Okay, well then you've now destroyed your ability to know anything, because if chance
is ultimate, true. I know a lot more about physics than you.
No, let me explain to you why this is a problem. If chance is ultimate, then you cannot say what is, can be, or cannot be. It doesn't matter what your predictive success is.
That's not true. No, you don't understand chance. The problem, let me interrupt now, because you don't understand chance. Physics depends upon chance. It's probabilities. If you know the probability distribution
that's not what I'm meant by chance.
Let me finish. Quantum mechanics depends upon chance, but it's also deterministic. Quantum mechanics says that there are probabilities that you'll measure the result of some experiment, but the underlying Schrödinger equation is a second-order differential equation whose results are completely deterministic.
That's not how I'm using the word chance.
Well, you better learn how to use the word chance. You're arguing against a version of
chance
that I'm not positive. How he's using the word.
Oh, good. That's
when I say chance is ultimate, I'm not using the word chance the way you just did. Chance is that there's nothing.
That's because you're not a physicist.
Ultimate. Well, I'm not discussing physics with you. I'm discussing. Let me just finish, okay, Dr. Krause. When I say chance, I mean there's nothing that is ultimate and fundamental dictating what's possible and impossible. So in your view, your view is then anything is possible, nothing is impossible. Is that your view, Dr. Krause?
If there's a multiverse, that could be the case. That means there's an infinite number of
that nothing is impossible.
Do you want my answer or not? Just tell me.
Yeah, I want an answer. Do you believe that nothing is impossible?
Do you want my answer or not?
Okay, just a minute.
And if you don't like my answer, I don't give a damn.
Okay.
The problem is you haven't been addressing my question.
Let me give you my answer. My answer is if there's a multiverse.
Professor. Yeah.
Okay. Can I answer or not? As a physicist would answer.
I'm not asking you a physics question. Okay. I'm asking you: is anything at all impossible?
That's a physics question.
No, it's not.
He went to physics.
Well, that's because you don't understand physics.
He's owned.
I'm not a materialist or a monist like you are, sir.
You're owned.
And that's why you spend all your time.
You're assuming that I'm a monist or a naturalist. All I want to know from you is anything impossible
obviously you're not, which is why
metaphysically?
It's a question that I really don't care about.
Well,
and that's why
you don't have an answer to it? So you don't have an answer to the question?
No.
What a coward way.
So then if you can't say that anything is impossible, then you destroy your ability to rationally justify what is, can be, or cannot be, because nothing's impossible.
I may destroy your rational ability, but not my rational.
No, you're not understanding the implications, Dr. Krause.
Thank you,
Dr. Krause.
If nothing is impossible, either.
Okay, I'm not discussing cosmology. Dr. Krause, I didn't invoke cosmology.
Let me try and explain
what I'm pointing out to you.
Do you want me to
Can I get a word in before I have to go, Dr. Krause? Dr. Krause, if nothing on a metaphysical level, on the grand scheme of things, is impossible, then you cannot say what is, can, or cannot be, because nothing's impossible.
That's right.
You've destroyed.
We're
not discussing cosmology, Dr. Krause.
You're right. We're discussing nonsense. Could you
what you're doing
nothing useful to say.
Why were you so afraid to mute Darth?
Shut up, Nelson. Shut your mouth, Nelson, bro.
So afraid to mute.
Okay. Got it. So, Darth, I didn't break my promise. You got it, but Professor Krause doesn't want to. All right, so Professor Krause.
I feel like somebody needs to give Krause a pat on the back for actually being such a good sport.
Yeah, for real.
Fuck Krause.
I will praise Krause for that.
Never got muted.
Thank you so much for this engagement. I hope that didn't come off too hard on you.
No. Look, he's got to be in his bonnet, and he thinks it's a typical thing. Thinks that philosophy, that those kind of questions, which he doesn't want to know the answer to in terms of physical terms.
Dude is half-stepping.
He can understand in the abstract. And let me just point out,
he's half-stepping. Listen to him.
Stop cutting him off. Number of laws of physics, then there are universes in which anything can happen. We don't live in all universes, however, we live in one of them. Darth, that's a scientific answer to his question. If he wants a different answer, I can't give it to him.
Darth is using a bifurcation fallacy, and when he appeals to impossibility, he's also inclining that it is just as impossible in his impossibility that the exact same opposite could be true. So it doesn't completely devalue Lawrence's argument there. It simply leaves room for error. It could just as well be that he is also wrong in his mouth.
Do we live in a chance world? Yes or no?
Well, a lot of things in quantum physics,
or no?
That's a bifurcation fallacy, because some things are probabilistic and some things are deterministic.
Dude,
you're going to actually first need to know what meaning concrete is using for chance.
Do we live in a chance world?
Do we know?
Yes or no?
Does he mean chance in the same way that God means chance, Concrete?
Do we live in a chance world, John?
What do you mean by chance?
Yes or no?
You mean
yes and no. Yes and no. If you use a Dedekind philosophy analysis, you will see that there is aspects of free will and there is aspects of determinism, and the Dedekind cut comes down in between them two in a transjective property. Just like you have some things which are probabilistic fields and some things which are deterministic.
You're probably getting too long-winded for Concrete.
Theoretical consideration that you're using in order to contemplate the answer. So whatever theoretical consideration you're appealing to could be wrong. So I don't know why you would appeal to something that you could be wrong in order to inform your decision on whether or not we live in a chance world.
I'm going to tell you what.
So I'm asking you real quickly, with the information that's been thoroughly verified, tested, and shown to be demonstrably true, and not appealing to theories that have not shown to be true, do we live in a chance world, yes or no?
Yeah, I said both of them, even all of that evidence considered, both can exist. There is a probabilistic field, and then there is a deterministic fields that apply to various properties. You're making a fallacy. You're making a bifurcation fallacy, and it's a yes or no. It's an either or fallacy.
So you're saying that we live in both a chance world and a non-chance world. Is that what you're
saying? Some things are chance and some things are not. Yes.
Okay.
So Concrete, you're saying that you could be wrong about things you could be wrong about?
The theories that you're appealing to in order to inform me. But true. Based on our natural observations, we're just going to say that no, this is not a chance world. But if you have something that leads you to believe that there is a non-chance world, or that we are in a non-chance world, or that it vacillates between chance and non-chance, then you just have to present that evidence. Do you have evidence that we live in a chance and non-chance world?
Yes, I talked about this evidence, and Dedekind went into this extensively in his philosophy, as well as did Whitehead, and they explained how both of those properties can exist at the same time. And when you are appealing to an either or, you are going to make extreme, grave errors in your philosophical analysis of what actually is.
Right. Concrete's used to doing that.
That's interesting, bro.
Yeah, but John E, you're taking out the existence of God. So your whole existence doesn't make any sense for you to have.
Well, no, that doesn't follow, Bart. It doesn't follow that if we live in a world that vacillates between chance and non-chance, therefore no God. It could be the case that God allows such features to exist in the world.
And Kierkegaard made this argument actually, and that is why he imbued angels with the power of choice and chance so that they could properly measure their faith. Kierkegaard went into this extensively. So yes, God can imbue them with the power of chance and probabilistic fields. Yes.
You can't use
why did Lawrence say that?
You can't use empirical justification systems.
He started going into the probabilities.
Right? In order to use empirical data, right, to justify a point, then you have to believe in a deterministic system.
No, that's false. We actually don't use deterministic. We use approximations, which are given sigma significance values. Only pure maths and natural sciences like pure maths and proofs use absolutisms. In science, we do not use the word proof. We use approximations that are given values of sigma significance. That is a big.
And so anything that Lawrence Krauss said is based on an approximation and isn't necessarily true.
Very high probability, though. And I can I just say real quick, I think it's really strange that these Christians are arguing against chance when they need to believe that there's free will, because if there's no chance, there's no free will. So it's either
unbelievable how you would point out a Christian in this situation. Unbelievable how you would do that.
You just take a moment.
Okay, so let me just say something, right? So in a world where God institutes a deterministic system, right? So in a world where God institutes, please.
Well, you started fucking talking over me, asshole.
Sorry, you go first.
I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate that Concrete, despite being a theist, was correct about why God would be unnecessary for this world.
Oh yeah, I think that was an accident.
No, you misunderstood.
Yeah, it was an accident.
Oh no, I shouldn't have fucking said anything.
I just want to point out John E. Rivers has risen to top 5 status. Very good, sir.
Okay, so look, God can institute a deterministic system to the most part, and because God transcends the deterministic system, can intervene, right, to allow people to also transcend the deterministic system. But to the most part, the system is entirely determined. But obviously, God's bestowing you with the ability to transcend the deterministic nature of reality so that you can change the future course of events. If everything's determined, right, then you can do...
Oh my gosh, he's destroying his own world.
Please let me finish.
Realize he's doing it.
Please, bro.
Can I go after?
If everything is determined, then you can use science, right, to justify your position through an empirical justification system. But if you believe in a chance universe, right, then you can't justify things necessarily through an empirical method.
Yeah, so basically, Pogan, why God would be necessary is because we have this little issue of something coming from nothing. And we also have this little issue of the symbiotic nature between the different elements of existence within the universe. So you've got the cosmological, biological, dermatological, tons of systems within systems.
Did you say dermatological?
He did.
Yeah, dermatological. That would be regarding.
He's really into skin.
Let me explain. Sure, let me.
His own apparatus.
I understand.
He's off of the sun.
Concrete, you and I are friends. We don't need to do this. I get it. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Come on. I know what you're saying. You don't need to start yelling. It's fine.
Christians,
not necessary.
the love of God.
I know what you're fucking. I know what you're saying. I understand.
I still know everything you're about to say.
What am I about to say?
Something forgivable.
Just let Concrete have the discussion with himself.
So all we can do is
just let him go
towards one another.
I can't even.
I'm incredulous that he knew what I was about to say, JJ.
I changed it to my headphones and it stayed on my fucking.
Concrete's mic was so bad I had to turn him down.
My fucking monitor. Apparently, you got to do that in settings too.
So fucking miserable all the time.
Yeah, and there's a reason why he hasn't killed himself yet either.
Big fucking impression, big influence on how you feel about life.
So can Lo come up in your crib? Man, fuck you. I'll see you at work. Oh, nigga, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, nigga. Maybe you got rid of the old yee ass haircut you got. You get some bitches on your dick.
It's racist.
Oh, better yet, maybe Tanisha will call your dog ass if she ever stop fucking with that brain surgeon, the lawyer she fucking.
You know what's funny about this is the dog literally just typed in the text chat that Concrete is inferior to humans, and y'all are just like letting the shit rock.
So Concrete, the response. Concrete, the response.
Why should you determine
God, shut the fuck up, Bart. You're so fucking insufferable.
I don't understand, yo.
Look, the response that I was. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. The response that I was going to give you, Concrete, very simply, was this. I don't take you to be a presuppositionalist, which means
he's deafened.
God, this room is so fucking garbage, man.
It's toxic.
Just make your point, man. I want to hear your point, even though Concrete doesn't.
Look, the point's this. Concrete, from what I understand, is not a presuppositionalist, which means when Krauss is saying something like, there's coherency absent God, Concrete can believe that God exists and believe that God is truth and believe that we're wrong for not asserting the existence of God, while maintaining that some semblance of coherence is possible without God. That's what I took him to be saying.
That's dumb.
Which differs from
what I was saying.
Which differs from the presuppositionalist position that, of course, being God would be necessary for any coherence.
That means you have no clue what the Christian thinks of God.
Are you a
Is it the case that you have no clue?
Are you a presuppositionalist?
It's China, okay?
Around these circles long enough to have an understanding of what the Christians mean when they say God.
Christians think different things.
So to make a statement so dumb, just it betrays your experience and your intellect.
Do you think? Sure. So let me just ask a clarifying question then, right? Do you think any coherent statement, any argument that is justified, can be provided absent the existence of the Christian God? If you do not think that, then you're a presuppositionalist.
Oh, sure, no problem, bro. Whatever moniker or title or category you need to put me in, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Concrete, do you believe that we live in a chance world? A chance universe?
Look, just one final question, then you can address what JJ said. Right. The point is this.
A troll.
That's fine.
Yeah, he's afraid to answer that.
The point is this.
I got him.
The point is this: if we're talking about something totally divorced from God, I give you an argument, right? You agree with the argument, and then you know somehow that I'm an atheist. You learn it, right? You'd agree that we don't require the existence of God for what we understand epistemologically to be truth. Is that correct?
Are you offering a hypothetical where
it was a question? It was a question.
So, the question involving material facts separate and apart from what I normally engage with?
What?
I'm just asking if you think God is necessary for truth, for epistemological truth.
I've already answered that.
So yes, you do, right?
Okay, great.
Is this lunch?
Answer.
Then you're a presuppositionalist.
And I already said I have no problem with whatever moniker or category you'd like to stick me in. Just make sure it's accurate.
Well, I mean, there's a further point. You don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but I'm sure you've time. I'm sure you've been. You can choose not to respond, but I would like to finish. Right?
Why are you holding the room hostage, bro? Just
I'm speaking in a public room where anybody. Yeah, other people can respond. It's a public room, right? The point is, you've been around long enough to understand, hopefully.
Let me just deafen, make sure you don't
and other people can take up the mantle if they say, okay, he's definitely there. I'll address the room. I take it that presuppositionalism, because it's going to cash out in terms of a question-begging argument, is going to be, obviously, committing an informal fallacy. And in virtue of that, there's nothing persuasive about that sort of argument to somebody that doesn't already accept God's existence. There. Now, if somebody would like to explain to me that some disagreement they have with that, I'd be open to it.
Do you accept the Munchausen's trilemma?
There's a counterfactual logical possibility.
I asked Pogan a question.
That was the most gibberish fucking thing I've ever heard.
What can you rephrase the question, Foxy? Do you mean what horn does he take, or
do you think no? He's saying that it leads to an informal fallacy when you're a foundation.
Foxy, I didn't say. Listen, I didn't say what you said was gibberish. I said that counterfactual shit was gibberish. I know what the Munchausen trilemma is. What? I just don't think it's relevant here.
What's your actual question?
Well, it is relevant because you're saying that the foundationalist position leads to an informal fallacy. Like, which horn of the trilemma do you hold?
Let me repeat the assertion. The assertion is as follows: if a Christian believes that no understanding of coherence or truth epistemologically is possible without the existence of God, they're a presuppositionalist. That's statement one. Statement two.
Isn't that a foundationalist?
Statement two. If they are a presuppositionalist, I take it to be there's going to be no further argument for the existence of God beyond one which begs the question. That is to say, God exists, insert premises, God exists, right? If that's the case, then people who do not already accept
reasoning. Oh, this is boring.
Correct. That's what it is. This
is not boring at all. This is great.
Yeah.
Continue.
Look, so firstly, if I could.
Hold on.
May I finish my point?
Please, Pogan, please finish.
Dismantle this.
May I finish my point?
Is it always fallacious to engage in circular reasoning?
Let him finish.
Is it always fallacious to engage in circular reasoning? Yes or no?
The problem with circular reasoning, let me just answer.
Folks.
I'm about to. It's an informal.
No, he's just not going to let you answer that.
It's
kill screening.
Is
there a mod in the room who can
He's just fucking kill screening? Shut the fuck up, Concrete.
You know, I've been asking for mods for a while now, and they won't give it to me.
The reason I said it, God damn it,
fuck off, Concrete.
Stop.
The reason I said it was informally fallacious is because that's taken to mean there is no flaw in
fallacious.
What's with the mute for 3 seconds? It doesn't make any sense.
No. Circular reasoning is not always a fallacy. No, John. Circular reasoning is not always a fallacy.
God, shut the fuck up.
The interpretation of a flaw that's variable.
Shut up.
Let Pogan finish.
Look, it's
why do you allow Pogan to just do this every time?
Next
person who interrupts gets muted.
Look,
continue, Pogan.
An informal fallacy is not an error in reasoning. It's pointing to something in the argument being unpersuasive. What's unpersuasive about it specifically is that in a question-begging argument, if you don't already accept the truth of the conclusion, there is nothing in the argument to persuade you that the conclusion is true. AKA, if I'm an atheist and you present me with a question-begging argument for God, right? I, as an atheist, have no reason in virtue of that argument alone to accept the truth of the conclusion. So no, it's not fallacious in the sense he's thinking about, nor is it always fallacious, but it is unpersuasive. And I take it that precepts and many other apologists presumably have the goal of persuading people that God exists. That's what I was going to fucking say.
Yes, circular reasoning. Circular reasoning is not a formal logical fallacy, but a pragmatic defect in an argument whereby the premises are just as much in need of proof or evidence as the conclusion, and as a consequence, the argument fails to make persuasion. So it is not a formal fallacy in the flaws of the logic.
Correct. Very
good. Can I add something here?
Yes.
It's very common for apologists to say that some position is self-defeating. Like, let's take an obvious example, like I cannot know anything. They will often say, how can you know that, right? When doing that, they're essentially asking this position to conform to circularity and be circular.
That's not okay, it's not what we're talking about. We're talking about circularity.
I like it, good G.
That's self-refuting.
The heck? Yeah.
All right, G.I. Jew. Let's everyone here. Let's hear G.I. Jew's lecture. Go ahead, G.I.
Here's my lecture. So
tell us about propositions.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. But no presuppositionalist just tells their opponent, you're wrong because God. They will conduct an internal critique because the presuppositionalist knows because God is true, every other system will be false in virtue because the Christian system is true. That's why
I'm sorry.
No. That's why Darth was.
Wait, but GI respectfully, that's all fantastic. I'm fucking enthralled. Just to clarify, you agree that presuppositionalism will commit the informal fallacy of begging the question, right?
Of course, I think that any external like critique or any external position that's trying to be imposed upon another will in principle always beg the question. For instance, if you were like a hardcore atheist and you were going to convince me of atheism under your own terms, you would just beg the question.
Well, you can say we all beg the question at some foundational point, and that's true, right? I don't think like logical axioms are going to be justified in a way that isn't circular, right? I don't even think they can be justified simpliciter, but the point is like the reason you and I accept the existence of logical axioms, even in light of that, is because we have certain desires to remain coherent within a system. So we just take them as axiomatic. What we don't take as axiomatic is the existence of God. And you specifically, based on prior conversations, I don't think would want to say something like God's existence is axiomatic, because your goal is to persuade your goal is to persuade people who don't already believe he exists, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
No, I don't think this is very. It's not like even like I found the most challenging atheistic. I find the most challenging atheistic critiques not to be external. I take the most seriously are the ones that grant my position for the sake of argument.
No, that's not. Wait. I agree that the most cutting arguments by an atheist are going to be internal critiques. We agree. The point I was making to you was, in one case, we accept an unjustified thing, like an axiom, because we have a mutual desire to operate coherently within a given framework, and we don't share that desire with respect to God. And you specifically, I don't think, would just take it that the existence of God is axiomatic, that is to say, unjustified. I'm correct about that, right?
So I think this question might be good along the same lines.
Yes, I would say, of course.
So we would say...
What? Well, let me go quick.
He asked the question. Shut up.
Let me go quick. Between Pogan and I, ultimately our systems are 100% different. Like, even though we might have a particular that ends up the same, like the proposition A is true, our entire system of how we got there is going to be totally separate and different.
Incorrect.
Right? In principle, we don't agree on anything in principle, right? Or on analysis.
Well, there's a whole bunch of thoughts which don't seem to be tied very closely to each other. I'm having difficulty extracting any coherent argument from it, I'm afraid.
Look, dog's just noise trolling. Let me ask you one question, then we'll go to Jim Gibson. The questions, I'll just ask you the same question I asked Concrete, right? The question is this. Do you agree that absent the existence of God, we could still arrive at justified conclusions? That is to say, can I give you an argument right now that you would agree is valid and sound, and in no way is God required for any of the justification? Would you agree with that statement? G.I. Jew. Did I lose connection?
It's a
No, you're there.
Claim. It's a
no, you're good.
Claim.
Can you quickly repeat that? I'm in a bad spot.
I don't know why you're appealing to G.I. Jew for the precept argument. You're just basically appealing to somebody who doesn't agree in it.
All right, Concrete, stop. We're going to repeat the question, please.
The question is, you agree that I could give you a valid and sound argument right now that has no relevance to God. That is, you were talking about something separate. And that argument would be justified, and there would be no requirement in the justification for the existence of God. That is to say, I could justify it without using God at all. Is that correct?
If it's sound, then the premises are propositions that are true. And in my system, a proposition is true if and only if it originates with God. So you couldn't even do that.
Why is a proposition why is a proposition true if and only if it originates from God?
Bivalent propositional
That's
meaning.
the Christian view. The Christian view says there's nothing outside. There's nothing outside of God. Like, there's nothing outside of God that is true in the sense that...
Isn't that just repeating the claim?
Oh my God. Yes, it is, but I'm about to extrapolate.
Yeah, you go to the most wishy-washy Christian apologist to make an argument. Thank you, Pogan.
It's even less interesting. All he's saying is that's what he means by true, that God thinks it.
You go to the weakest fucking branch on the tree. Thank you, Pogan.
No, that would be you.
That our system, I'm just telling you that our systems in principle, I'm just telling you that in principle our systems are not going to agree on anything.
Yeah, I understand.
But that's the peculiar thing, because that's not true. Because if you actually normalize all of the terms such that what Pogan means by true is being subbed in for like whatever GI thinks that is, it would actually work.
Yeah, the point
like to be a peculiar like anyway, right? Because like
one second, Alex, just real. I wanted to respond. Yeah, just give me 2 seconds here. Look, I mean, you've begged the question, which was the whole like thrust of this to begin with, right? You're just saying it's true because God thinks it, and God thinks God thinks it. If I can talk, God thinks it because it's true, and that's fine. Right? If you take that to be an axiomatic position, much like I would take A equals A to be an axiomatic position, then whatever. But just understand that if your goal is to persuade atheists and agnostics who don't already agree with you, there's nothing persuasive in that at all. Like I said
that's
earlier.
a qualitative claim, and what are we going to do with that? Because what we can show is that if the atheist is exposed to the truth of the gospel, we'll just look at the conversion rate, right? And we'll look at the population size, and we'll look at that over a year-over-year analysis. So you claiming that is not persuasive, it's just a fucking fifi statement, right? And what we actually need is strong data. And what we need is strong data to actually to prove that. And what we'll see is that even in the information age, with all the access to all the arguments, the fucking atheist community is abysmal. You're being outnumbered by kooky belief systems such as Mormonism. Right?
No, 1 second. How would you show that the conversion rate is attributable to some kind of argument?
Can I just see the numbers that you're talking about? Wait, before we even get there, can I see the numbers that you're talking about? Because
he
doesn't have any.
JJ has
Alex,
a strong.
Can we let Alex make his point real quick?
It doesn't matter. Concrete deafened. He's not interested in having this discussion.
I want to go back to like this idea of truth in the world and like be residing in God, because I find this a little strange. Because like presumably like the Christians are going to say something like people want to sin, right? But that can't originate. Like I don't know why they would want to originate that with God. Like, that's the truth about the world, right? That people want to sin.
Precisely.
He's a Calvinist. Of course, he wants to say that.
Well, the point is that the desire to sin.
Do you guys know what Calvinists think? Calvinists think that God makes people who sin so he can fuck them forever.
Yeah,
getting ridiculed by the atheists. Good job, Calvinists.
Like their view of God is that he arbitrarily creates a bunch of people who are bad.
My apologies,
and he fucks them, right?
I'm not a
He makes
Calvinist.
people arbitrarily who are good,
but
and he rewards them. But it's all just like what he wants them to do. So like sin, he wants that to happen so he can fuck people.
Question for
God's playing house basically.
Do you?
Yeah, Jim. Oh my God. God damn.
Unmuted dog. Stop unmuting dog.
Jim, you've wanted to ask a question for like 10 minutes. Go ahead.
God was taking a piss.
I
Thank
wanted,
you very much.
I wanted to throw this out just real fast too. So I'm not a Calvinist, but I don't think we should strawman other people's positions because it doesn't do us any good to like attack the weakest or the most malinformed position on it. Like that wasn't what Calvinists believe. Calvinists
depends on what definitely
is.
Ask
Maybe they can offer a better opinion.
Hold on. One fucking minute. Ask GIG what a vessel of wrath is and why God makes them.
Can I just finish up a small point? And then I guess I can avoid my question because people seem very upset in this room tonight.
Why are people letting this human thumb dominate the VC?
Can we like not be?
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Wait.
I mean, if nobody wants to,
let the guy finish his point.
Let him finish his point. Like he's actually being respectful. Like just chill.
Well, I'm gonna go to another room or another chat, but maybe I can chat with anybody who wants to chat.
Yeah,
later,
respectfully uninformed. No, thank you, bro.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
I thought Jim was doing well. I thought he was being respectful.
I'm not like a perfect advocate for Calvinism, but I think that Calvinists believe that the future's already been like instituted, and we're just perceiving it in
that's interesting.
A theory of time.
Who is
but
that
the idea
Jim
that
guy?
they don't, if you don't mind, the idea that
I do
they
mind.
don't have the ability to choose freely, right, isn't
very good.
necessarily the case. Like even though the future's already been instituted, in the moments that it's possible to do so, God could also have allowed them the ability to choose freely. Even though they've not reached that decision-making point.
Yeah, so the word you're
That's Molinism, isn't it? That's some kind of Molinism, isn't it?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a perfect advocate of Calvinism, but there is nuance in the Calvinist position for sure.
Sounds like a middle knowledge position.
I thought you were a Calvinist.
No, I don't really know at the moment. I've only just converted to Christianity, so I'm
No,
still thinking about my position.
So I beat up on Shane.
I mean, you've got a problem with my accent, maybe, but I mean,
he's not a
I've got problem
Calvinist.
with yours.
He's just a retard.
Luke, I want to go back to what you said. I want to go back to what you said a little bit ago. So the Calvinist position from what you're saying, and I'm trying to get an understanding, is if I have a desire, say a desire to sin, it's the case that that desire has already been cashed out as a thought in God's mind. So
God caused you to have that desire, and He caused you, and He determined the world in such a way that you would act in that desire and sin, right? And then He's going to burn you forever because you did that.
Correct. If God caused me to have the desire, then how am I blameworthy for the desire to sin?
Because He thinks you are.
Good question.
Again, God's playing house in this scenario.
That's just God making you say that.
That's
so God, like a puppet. I mean, picture God's hand up your ass, and you're like a little puppet, and he's making you say stuff.
JJ with the big brain contribution as usual.
God damn it! Where's the God? So then the position, Luke, is
JJ with the big brain contribution as usual. Thank you, JJ.
So then the position is functionally something like God, even in such cases where God. Like the agent is not actually having the desire of their own free will. They are caused to have the desire.
That's just God making you say that.
Calvinists don't believe in any kind of free will.
An offense on the surface.
Well, then what sense does it make for sins to be cashed out as like judgments and punishments?
Good question.
Because God thinks they are. That's it.
Calvinist.
Let me answer. I can answer.
God thinks they are is a non-answer.
No, it's not.
Let me answer.
Let him answer. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
GIU has the answers, please. But just remember, this is all just God making him say that. That's all.
Somebody make JJ shut up. please.
Yeah, stop with the net slick theory.
Under Calvinism, the idea is that God's will, right, can be cashed out in a couple of different ways. For instance, God has a decretive will and a prescriptive will. Right? The prescriptive will is the moral propositions God's pronounced, and his decretive will is God's ordination of every single event. It is not sinful for God to ordain any event, because there is no moral law impinging God on what he can and can't do.
I've got a quick question then. Right. So are you saying that God's decrees are not prescriptive?
No, God's decrees are events that will happen.
Can you let him answer? Let him answer.
Shut up!
Let him answer.
Oh my goodness.
No,
I'm sorry. What?
Can somebody put a chain on that white man that's yelling?
Oh,
Still can't hear him.
Please.
Listen. God's decrees are events that will happen in time.
And they're not prescriptive.
No, they're not. They're events that will happen in time.
Okay. Well, then what's prescriptive?
Prescriptions are God's like positive moral laws that he gives or that he utters to agents.
So God has no agency and no morals.
It's a strange distinction.
So look, it's just
I'm giving you textbook. I'm giving you textbook Reformed theology.
So
where do you think I got decretive will
doesn't
from?
make it any less strange, buddy.
So God could prescribe we do the impossible, but not actually decree the impossible.
Well, it's just going to reduce.
There's no contradiction.
It's going to reduce down to, like, God prescribes that you don't murder. God decrees that you do murder, right? And it's because he desires that you don't murder, but he simultaneously desires that you do murder.
No contradiction there. That's why I say we can prescribe the impossible but decree the possible.
This is why the first thing that I said, that God's will can be distinguished and cast out in different ways. If I'm able to distinguish between two senses of God's wills, then there's no contradiction. God can will an event to take place, and God also will to prescribe moral law. And because those are not the same senses, there's no contradiction.
Does God will? Wait, I'm sorry.
I have a question for you.
Does God will anything that he doesn't desire?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, we were all going to ask this.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Look, this just goes back to wills and desires.
But answer the question.
Answer the question. Does God will anything that he does not desire?
Dude, hey, calm down. I know you're all very excited. Right? So by desire and will, I think those words are pretty synonymous. Because if you say, oh, but he desires to will stuff, I'm just going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to cash out will or desire in the same way.
Can you answer his question directly?
No, that's fine. That's fine. So he desires things, he wills things, same thing. So he does will things. Everything that he wills, he desires.
Yeah.
So everything that he decrees, he desires. Everything he prescribes, he desires. He wills both of them, correct?
Yeah, there is no distinction.
This is why, listen, this is why in the first part of my explanation, I made a distinction between God's will. And if you say, oh, but does he desire everything he wills? I'm just going to make the same distinction in desire.
But you're agreeing that there is no distinction.
I'm just going to tell you that will and desire are synonymous words.
And this is why the distinction you made before doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a strange distinction to say that there's things he decrees and things he prescribes, and they're distinct.
He's going to say he's a strange God.
So when he prescribes that you don't do something, does that mean that he desires that you don't do it?
In the prescriptive sense. This is why I made the distinction earlier. Like anytime you bring up the word desire and will, I'm just going to say that there's a decretive will and a prescriptive will. The decretive will being God who preordains every single event for a certain purpose. And then the prescriptive will be moral propositions that God utters to men or to agents.
Yeah, so it just seems at that point like God is irrational, right? He's just sat there going, I wish people didn't do exactly what I made them do.
Yeah, he's like a buttered cat array, just spinning around, just can't decide whether he wants it or he doesn't want it. He wants both.
My question to you, wait, I have an actual question.
It's not getting through your head.
Is that a God?
Be a problem. Would you stop? Hang on. This would only be a problem if I meant desire equivocally, and I am not. I
didn't mean equivocally.
Wait.
He said analogically ban that motherfucker.
Wait, is that a God we should worship that is deserving of worship and is all good?
That's a different question. Let's leave that one aside for now.
Okay.
He's not going to say that God is all good in the sense that you mean it, because in the sense that you mean it, he's a moral anti-realist.
Like parents that have to commit their kids to space tramp, like not just going into overseas, now they have to go to space. So the difference between
Well, the problem is the entire punitive structure is based on a God that is perfect, has perfect desires, has perfect nature. So if you're going to posit a God that desires both what he would consider within the system, good and bad, in and out of accord with that will, you're just proposing nonsense. You're proposing a contradiction. It's not possible.
There are peculiar things going on with the system of beliefs. Like one of them is like it contradicts like a very like one of the most accepted posits in philosophy that like ought implies can, because obviously on that view, it's not the case that you can in any sense, right? He's a necessitarian too, right? There's no sense in which you can ever like do any of these things that you're prescribed to do if you're a quote unquote vessel of wrath, but you still ought to do them. That's just going to be impossible if it's the case that ought implies can, right?
Jump with consensus.
There's also weird things going on where there's this implication that there's such a thing as a non-prescriptive desire, when most people think it's the case that a desire in some sense is just the belief that something is good, right? But if it's the case that a desire is just the belief that something is good, it can't be the case that there are moral prescriptions. There are like moral beliefs and decretive and prescriptive like wills that contradict one another, unless it's the case that God does and does not think P is good.
Well, but God's allowed to create that conflict and co-opt one definition with another because, it's God. And
right.
It still seemingly seems allowed.
Lucky me is probably the only one in here who has legitimately done stand-up comedy, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, you are funny, JJ. You're like unironically funny.
Am I wrong about that?
Is the answer to the question then that God is not possible for God to be perfect?
I was just going to say that if I ever met JJ by going through the northern part of the U.S., I would think somehow I was really approximating the movie Fargo.
Why take you?
You're going to stick him? You're going to stick him in a wood chipper?
I will show you the specific.
It's only because JJ is from Minnesota. He's nowhere near that witty or cunning. He's only because he's from Minnesota. Even though that movie took place in North Dakota, it's whatever.
He wants to stick you in a wood chipper, JJ. God.
Why do you think that movie took place? You're dumb. You're so fucking dumb.
The movie. What do you mean? Fargo is in North Dakota. Minnesota, North Dakota. What are you talking about? That's where it took place. Yeah, I know. JJ. I know you're sundowning right now. I know you're sundowning. Relax. That's not the time that you needed to yell, JJ. What are you smoking right now?
They reference it, but they never go there.
No, they go there one time.
Oh, do that? What season?
When they go swap the car.
That's where the bodies are dropping. What are you talking about?
Movie.
Oh, you meant the office, the assassin office.
I'm not saying I'd throw.
I'm talking about the fucking movie.
I would fill the tension.
No. The beauty is I mentioned Minnesota and North Dakota, and yet JJ is still yelling, yeah, like anyone else would do that. He's just a retard.
Nelson has got a hard on for JJ today.
Well, that's why.
JJ is just a retard. That's not the person. He's just a retard. That's all.
JJ, Nelson, what does it mean to sundown?
Joe Biden. JJ, do you want me to give you a medical definition, or do you just want to joke?
No, I've never heard the term before.
Okay, so basically, so like for instance, when it's basically like the lucidity, right? So like JJ is lucid at times, then the sun goes down, and this usually happens in like a lot of skilled nursing facilities, and then JJ becomes a retard, right? And JJ's like, hey, wait a minute, the sun's going down. I'm losing my lucidity. I'm now getting older, and he becomes a retard. So that when I say sundowning,
know anything about it.
When I say sundowning, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It happens to people. It happens to people who have like
called sundown syndrome.
senility.
When I was a child,
is setting in.
I had a grandparent that went through what was very new to most of us called sundown.
Yeah, well, what JJ is going through right now, he had a grandparent go through it. Yeah.
No, well, what it actually entails typically is hallucinations.
You think is hereditary?
Again, what JJ is going through right now, that's what he. I absolutely believe
people who have some sort of senility or Alzheimer's or something like that.
You actually don't need.
Listen to Kat. Kat is a very on the level nurse, so listen to Kat.
But it happens,
before you listen to Kat.
It happens without either of those.
Isn't people who have some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's or senility or anything like that, and in the evening time, they usually have some sort of worsening.
It's when it
exactly.
Right.
So this is where JJ especially gets
hallucinations and memory loss, right?
Yeah. So this is where JJ gets especially abusive and loud.
You said something very stupid. And when you said
I didn't say anything stupid. Listen. I covered my bases.
No, you did.
No. All I said was this.
I'm still pointing out the stupid thing you said. And you're just trying to stop me from telling everybody or reiterating the stupid thing that you said.
Go ahead.
Everybody heard you say that Fargo was in North Dakota and didn't take place in Minnesota. You're wrong. The movie Fargo was almost entirely in Minnesota, in the area that I live. So shut your fucking dumb ass.
Okay, for sure. Now let me ask you, was that a proportionate response to what I said? Or are you sundowning?
It was more dramatic. I thought it was proportional.
Was that a proportionate response to what I said, or are you sundowning right now? Again, JJ, I already said you're right. Was that it? Again, JJ, was that a proportional response to what I just said, or are you sundowning right now?
How's that?
Okay. Okay, JJ, all right.
You only get those two choices. You're a retard or you're a faggot. Pick one.
Oof. All right. Never heard JJ use the F word. You must have really.
He's using those non-common words. It's beautiful.
You must have really.
I know. But next time this happens, JJ's going to moralize about those words. But now he's using those non-common boxing words.
Nelson, he just won't shut up.
Right now he's going to use those words, but later he's going to moralize about them. That's the beauty of it.
Close to using the N-word, man. You gotta be careful.
But it's almost.
He wanted to call me a Negro or something, right? But he's going to moralize about that later in time. So he can't say that. I know.
Give him the pass. Give him the pass.
I don't even think he's
JJ, you have the pass.
I'll give him a pass. No. JJ thought I was Shamos for months. This is how retarded he is, right? This is the sundowning I'm talking about.
Wow.
But the point being,
you're wrong again, Nelson.
The point being,
I never thought. I know. The point is that you're dumb.
I know.
I never thought you were.
I know.
Why do you think?
And don't forget.
I'm asking you a question.
Don't the F slur. Hold up. Wait a minute.
You have to shut up for a second. Why do you think that I thought you were Shamos for months?
Nelson, this is the type of focus that JJ used to have on me, right?
You're gonna have to
focuses on me.
Ironically, he just goes black person.
Another motherfucking thing.
Okay, most people probably
and I don't know why anybody wants to hear Nelson say a fucking thing.
I wanted to ask you, Nelson.
Nelson said this dumbass thing that I thought.
Nelson, do you think the focus has got something to do with your melanin? You think it's got something to do with your melanin?
It's definitely melanin. It's definitely because dude, think about it. He doesn't go this hard on anybody. He's definitely, and the beauty is the whole Midwestern nice thing is a crock, right? So JJ is going, these fucking blacks. I can't call him a nigger, but I'll call him a faggot. Like, but then he'll go moralizing comment boxes. But then he'll go moralizing comment boxes about people who use these words.
You don't have an answer for that because you're a dipshit? You're just a dipshit.
Wait, what were you saying, JJ? I'm sorry.
You can't help it. But you said that I thought that you were Shamos for months. Why would you think that?
I've always had an impression that JJ was like anti-melanin infused people.
The question of the dumb.
He definitely is.
But here's what's weird. Concrete's skull is so thick.
He's so stupid.
Your skull is so thick.
Chain one.
Your skull is so thick.
Fucking gay.
Do you know about JJ's like living situation?
Are really into it.
Do you know what JJ's living situation is?
What is it like? I don't know.
Oh man, I don't even want to tell you because it's punching down. It's like literally punching down. It's literally punching down. And so I've never mentioned it, right? I take all his blows. I take all his insinuations about intelligence, about fucking animalistic behavior, whatever. I'll take it. But sometimes I just go, you know what, dude? I look at your life, and I would never have the audacity to say anything about anybody else, given your living circumstances. I would never. I would fucking bite my tongue until blood fills my mouth if I lived like JJ and had the audacity to talk about other fucking human beings. Hey, I guess we're different people.
So how does JJ live? How does JJ live?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna leave it alone.
I respect your discretion. I respect your discretion.
I'll leave it alone.
I thought that you were Shamos for several.
I'll leave it alone.
And here's the beauty, Concrete. JJ keeps rambling. JJ keeps rambling about me like as if JJ keeps rambling about me saying like he thought I was Shamos for months, as if I would just make that up. Like that was just some random ass diss. It was just to mention the fact that this dude is retarded on many levels. But why would I just make up like him thinking I was Shamos? That's just a retarded ass.
Why do you think that I thought
like
that?
Why would I do that?
Because you're dumb.
Did you think you were?
No,
you
because
were
you
Shamos
literally
the
thought
person
that.
or ideologically Shamos?
No. He thought I was literally Shamos the person.
No.
Every time he came into Enlightenment VC.
Why do you think that?
Listen. Every time he came into Enlightenment VC,
but you're not answering.
He would constantly. I don't know why he's yelling right now. Every time he came into Enlightenment VC,
certainly isn't yelling.
He would. Again, look, the sundowning is getting crazy, JJ. You got to take meds. Okay, but like every time he got into Enlightenment VCs, he would completely he would start questioning me about like North Carolina, South Carolina, where Shamos is from, and I'm like, why is he doing this? And every time he stopped questioning, he would proceed to somebody else. I'm answering the question. Why is he still talking? Why is he still talking?
That was me.
I'm answering the question.
You're just confused or
so
you're stupid.
Is my mic muted right now? Why is he still talking?
Well, I don't get to hear you try to overtalk me because I turned you down.
I didn't even have to turn JJ down. He's just that slow.
This
right?
is worse than when you and I had beef, JJ.
Because you don't have that melanin, Andricus. That's why. That's why.
Whoa, wait.
Nelson, well, you're not half as dumb. You're not half as dumb as Nelson is.
And half as black, yeah, especially. Throw that You're not half as black, Andricus.
I think you're probably.
Andricus had to clarify his black percentage. Honestly. It's a 0, bro. Yeah. What are you talking about?
No, I just had to throw that in there for the wordplay. But like, even when I'm answering a question, JJ won't shut up and listen, and then like proceed to like break down the answer. He'll just keep sundowning and getting belligerent. It's crazy.
I do have my black delegation card, though. I do have that.
I remember one time I was in a room with JJ.
You're not doing
Dio,
well,
right?
Yeah.
I was in a room with JJ and Dio, and JJ had mod powers at that time. And Dio said,
"Oh Lord, oh no."
Yeah. Dio said some racist shit, right? And then I went to JJ. I'm like, yo, JJ, he said some racist shit. He was like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Of course he is. Of course he is. Brody, of course he was okay with that. He's like, please, I mean, well, for what it's worth, you're still in the country, right? Well, then be grateful.
That shit broke my heart, yo. I was like, damn, this motherfucker's something else.
Sad, man. Sad, Brody. Sad. That Minnesota nice doesn't like track with blacks. Apparently, it's sad, man. It's sad.
Someone has to explain how there was like an hour-long conversation about something that JJ did with a girl in a Discord call. I had no idea.
Is everyone in here?
Sam is supposed to be.
Yeah, are we ready to get back to that? Because here's the beauty of that convo. 15 minutes into this 8 hours.
JJ's dick. Yeah, we've really progressed. This is awesome.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. That Lawrence Krauss conversation tapered off. I listened, and then you guys.
I don't know why anybody would listen to you because you. But anyway, you're clearly confused about
8 hours into. For sure. Yeah.
In fact,
so 8 hours.
I wonder if you think that I'm Mikolash.
I'll wait again. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
I know.
You wait.
So
I feel bad. I talked about JJ.
Don't say you're wait. Don't say you're wait and not wait.
So this video.
Why would you say
I said hoping you would be an adult, but I forgot. You're sundowning into a baby.
Why would you say you would wait and then not wait?
No,
JJ, let me apologize, bro.
You're just lying.
I didn't expect you to sundown into this baby this fast. You're like Benjamin Button. Be quiet.
Anyway, I apologize, bro.
Did I hallucinate that you said you were going to wait and then not wait?
So the beauty is,
a fucking liar. If you're just going to be a fucking liar, you're stupid and a liar.
So the beauty is, this video is 8 hours long.
JJ, say that word.
This video is 8 hours long.
Say that word you've always wanted to say, JJ.
So if you're thinking that I was Flash, who did think you were Shamos, you're just
So anyways, so this video is 8 hours long. So this video is 8 hours long.
Here.
And he proceeded to talk about, oh yeah, you'll never find anything about me, blah, 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 right? And the whole video is about him jerking off and being weird to this girl and some Louis C.K. shit. So the video is 8 hours long, so I'm like expecting to sit in for the long run to finally like catch JJ on some lawyering up shit. This dude, JJ, 15 minutes in, this girl is talking about the fact that, multiple times, JJ would go into these video calls and be jerking off in front of her. She's like, stop. And she'd have to leave the video call, right? Like, there are multiple times that she did stuff like that. 15 minutes in. So I don't know what the next 7 hours and 45 minutes is going to be. 15 minutes in, this dude is Louis C.K. 15 minutes in. It's not a bad look.
That's a bad look.
Well, it's not true.
That's a real bad look.
I mean, it's not true.
Can we throw in the towel for JJ, please, bro?
Provide the time.
15
right now I'm playing this game and shit, but
imagine this. Real talk. Imagine if it was Lord of the Rings, the trilogy. Imagine if it was the trilogy of Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, how long is it going to take them to get to Mount Mordor? And then they get there within 15 minutes. They get there within 15 minutes. Frodo is throwing the ring into the volcano in 15 minutes, bruh. Like, this dude talked about, you'll never find it. 15 minutes in, we found it.
You didn't find it.
We're going to have to let the evidence speak for itself.
JJ, man, I apologize for bringing stuff up about you personally. I'm sorry, bro. I really sincerely apologize.
You got concrete feeling bad for you, bro.
I feel bad, man.
I don't care. Concrete.
We can't punch down, man. We can't punch down. We gotta stop that.
Just a second.
You can't punch at all, concrete.
Jay, I'm talking. Okay.
I actually love you, JJ, and I wish you the best.
I don't care.
Dog. Are you there,
God
dog?
bless you, and may
your behavior is atrocious, concrete.
May your behavior, may you be blessed, bro.
Okay. You're not going to listen. You're going to give me a dog. Are you there? I'm going to repeat it. Dog, are you there?
Can you imagine somebody beating off on camera talking about my behavior?
Yeah, whatever. Dog, I'm going to warn you one. Okay. Can you not join with your alts in here?
That's not my alt. What are you talking about?
You're going to get banned if you continue doing this.
Okay, I'm not going to join with my alt. Which alt?
Plus alt that has monkey face. Don't join with it.
Wow. Yo, why is dog so racist, man? Like, what
He's a hater at me. He's a hater
What did black people do to you, man? What did black people do?
It's me, bro. It's something I did.
Oh, okay.
What was I gonna say?
Did you take his girl or something, concrete? Like, did you?
I think we're gonna sing now. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Who wrote the song?
Who wrote it? I have no clue.
Get the music button here.
Pretty sure it's Burt Bacharach.
I love you, JJ, and I really do apologize, bro.
I think I sang that in elementary school play or something.
Also,
it is Burt Bacharach.
Rugs or cloth to gun. Right, concrete. Right.
Just to step all
over. What did you say? I didn't hear the name. What? Somebody said something.
Like all souls before God are like terry rags, terry cloth. Is that not?
No. You're wrong. It's all good works are as filthy rags. So people pretending that they're going to impress God with their good deeds, they're looked at as filthy rags.
Your work. I mean, I know you're saying
your life is not your work. Your life is not your work. What is that supposed to mean?
Well, your life is an expression also of your work. If you talk about how your work has impacted your life, right?
This is the faith without works and works without faith.
Yeah. So basically, what he's saying is you can be a murderer, a rapist, and everything as long as you believe in God. Yeah. That's
basically.
I'm not saying that. Is that what he's saying?
I mean, like, if works didn't matter, there's a lot
you
of
might need some moderation in your general chat.
Yeah, it might just be a little, just a little.
No, I think
we got any moderators in general chat?
I think it's very nuanced. Not that the works don't matter.
These videos aren't terribly nuanced. Okay,
they are not to be just impressing God. You're not going to just like impress God because you're doing good things. I think it's subtle nuance.
Oh,
I think you can understand it, but it is what it is.
I mean, surely it works in place. Otherwise, they would.
Let me clean up. Let me clean up this mess, please. Let me clean up this mess. Let me clean up this mess. So there are two perspectives, right?
Clean up this mess. You're not Christian.
Yeah, bro. Let me clean up your mess, bro.
Wait,
Brittany, really?
Bro, let me clean.
I have some questions.
Okay, cool.
Let me clean up your mess, bro. You're making a mess,
bro. I'm all right, bro. Okay, bro. Just remember you said that when they bring up Aisha and beat Aisha over your head.
No, bro, that's not a mess, bro. So only for Luca it's a mess, but that's a different thing. Well, okay, I lost my thought.
Is 6 years old? Is 6 years old a little too old for Muhammad, or what? Like, was that on the later end? Was that like?
We'll leave it alone for now, please.
See, Benny, you should have stayed quiet, man. You should have stayed quiet, Ben.
Please don't let this turn into a Muslim-Christian fight or something.
Yeah. So let me.
It's about to, because all Benny has to do is stay quiet.
Handled that already.
I disagree with that statement. You should stay quiet, man. Like, don't let out the priestly secrets. Don't let the muggles in on what the witches know.
What the world?
What? So basically, what the mess is right now. So basically, what the mess is right now is that people think will.
They do that a lot, actually. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
People do think.
Let's give it up for Benny, folks. Round of applause for Benny. Benny tried to leave. Go away. Thank you. Have a nice night.
JJ, how do you think Nelson was showing us, you fucking idiot?
He said, people think.
What'd you say?
You fucking clown.
Hold on. Is that Miko? That's Miko. So, do I have you confused with JJ?
What?
Well, you sort of. You actually had somebody else. Like, I actually thought you were shameless, but I think you were thinking of somebody else, actually. Because
there were multiple people. Listen.
Said that you or others thought that he was shameless. What did I say?
No, listen, there were multiple people. But the issue is, I literally remember JJ coming into Enlightenment VCs, questioning me about North Carolina, and I wouldn't understand why. And I'd have to ask other people in VC when JJ like deafened or muted or whatever.
Think you're sundowning.
I'm sundowning now. Okay, all right. I'm not saying Miko maybe didn't, but I'm saying you specifically did.
Maybe it's not called sundowning when you're a child and being delusional.
Nelson, I don't think it's shameless. I don't think it's JJ, because me and JJ have DMs where he denies. He's calling me. He's saying what I'm saying is wrong. That you're not shameless.
So just more dumb shit out of Nelson's mouth.
Say so. Come on, guys. No. I mean, again, if you say so, but I really want to reiterate that maybe that happened after the fact, but there were times where JJ himself, and I wasn't going, oh, no, I just want to throw JJ. Again, why would I throw this on JJ if it didn't happen just to prove a point? Like, I could throw other things out there, like JJ's incompetence, whether it be gaming or VCs, or the fact that he was jerking off in front of this girl that didn't want his dick.
Talking about the reason why.
That's the point.
Again.
I know. I'm confused again. Okay, you got it, JJ.
Mistaken.
Anyways, Miko, I appreciate you for coming in here.
It is irrelevant, other than
to clear that up.
You're just
again, Miko, I appreciate you coming here to clear that up. But respectfully, like while JJ did have that DM with you, while JJ did have that DM with you, he literally came to me asking those questions. So maybe it was after the fact. I don't deny that, but he literally came to me in Enlightenment VCs. I can tell you. The server and the VCs that it happened in, he asked me those questions. But I thank you for coming in here, Miko.
But none of those things happened.
JJ, drive by.
Michael Fall.
Now, so. Who's that? Is that Rev? No.
No, I haven't seen. Rev has Rev been on Discord? Rev has been making pornos with Shani's Christ. Shady for Christ.
This is just not an image I want in my head.
Oh, you're lucky you didn't see any of it.
Me neither.
Not Shani for Jesus.
Okay, so
it's just Shani for Christ. It's like Christ out.
Okay,
Yeah, I used to watch a little bit of Drag's shows about Shanty and G-Man and all that, but it got boring after a while.
It's totally boring. I'm worried about Drag. Right. I was.
I understand.
I was concerned how obsessed he seemed.
Yeah, I had the same feeling.
I want to hear someone called Darth the Sundowner. Not Darth, actually. More fittingly, perhaps Mr. Batman.
Okay, there was some interesting discussion with Krauss or something. That guy, that stupid guy who made a book, a bestseller of saying that the universe came out of nothing or something. And when that nothing is not really nothing. So he fooled a lot of people. He fooled a lot of people. He fooled a lot of people.
Well, that's not what he said tonight.
So
that's not what he said tonight. He said it was nothing.
You can easily sell a bestseller just by espousing stupidity.
I'm sure that's how it works, Benny.
What's wrong? Wait. Crash bit the bullet. He bit the bullet and just said absolute metaphysical nothing. Everything came from.
Yeah, he said it could just be nothing.
He said, given the laws of physics.
More sympathetic with that than his
How
earlier.
stupid, KD. How stupid.
He said, given the laws of physics and what we know, the universe can actually logically come from absolute nothing.
Hey, hold on, JJ. Wait. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting everyone.
Shut up. What would the laws?
I'm sorry, JJ, that I made fun of you. I didn't know you lived in a homeless shelter. That's pathetic. I will never make fun of you again, JJ. I'm sorry, bro. That's a rough life. That's a pathetic life. I'd hang myself if I was 60 in a homeless shelter. I apologize, JJ. Sorry, man.
If a human being,
I believe you would.
Sorry, bro.
You know, in fact, one of my first members in here was about your age, and he did hang himself.
Just toxic.
Like
so
within days.
Take a room, bro. Take a room. This is not personal.
I was talking. Let me finish. So
okay.
The laws of physics obviously wouldn't have anything to do with how the universe originated.
Damn, man, what the fuck?
What?
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know. Everyone's shouting over. Because you need the laws. This guy. You need the laws of physics in place.
You got to stop doing that, man. You bring the worst out of people.
So do you think the laws that you think that scientific laws are
I don't think I haven't got my full thought out because it's concrete. He keeps opening his car door or something and talking.
Oh yeah, what do you expect from him?
He might have me on local mute or something. I don't know.
No, he just doesn't care.
You already have to have.
Saying that if there's absolute metaphysical nothing, the laws of physics wouldn't exist. So there's no
or you already need to have them if they're gonna create the universe, and you need a universe in the first place. Like it's just an incoherent statement.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the view. I was actually disappointed. I wanted to ask him about his thoughts on an eternal universe rather than one that had a beginning.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I don't understand.
I asked him about that.
Are you
talking about physical nothingness? No, I don't know why the Christians
yeah. But
that position.
I wanted more.
Yeah, anyway, that's a particular model.
That's not to say. To say the laws of physics, to say the laws of physics produce the universe is not to say nothing.
Gay niggas out there, dedicated to niggas who suck and fuck their homies on a daily basis, and of course, all the big niggas with big dickers. Nick Pro Records in this bitch, nigga. Bitch, I'm sticking 5 cocks in my ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cocks gonna blast. Hot throbbing that glass. Hot cocks gonna smash my ass. Grip fast, bust nut in advance. Suck nut, fuck butt, lick dick.
No Mars in the house.
Bliss, bust nut, dumb cock, pinch this tit bitch. Gay nigga, gay niggas, bitch, please.
It's dog, obviously.
Stop singing, fam. It's the rhythm bot. I just didn't.
Well, a dog triggered it.
Oh, he's retarded. No, so yeah, but Krauss's position is not that everything came from nothing causelessly. He says the physical laws did it. That's incoherent.
That's
but
right.
It's not
that's right.
Yeah. That's incoherent. I would rather him say it just came from nothing, like because that's at least defensible.
Yo, we need to come up with a furry song about human beings that like to fuck dogs. You know what I'm saying?
We got an animal in the house, dog.
So how do you know that it's?
When I see that cat, I meet a real cat. I want to fuck that cat, and I want to fuck that dog because I'm a real piece of shit. Human man.
That was a little better.
Oh shit!
So okay. So what I don't understand is human beings can aim that
Why
low.
are you talking?
That if human beings can aim that low to even acknowledge such a guy as Krauss.
Why are you talking?
He's such a stupid guy.
Why are
As a
you
bestseller
talking?
with stupid things.
Right, can't Benny talk.
Really, human beings are a really funny creation, right?
It's
so
sweet.
they are the best of creation, but at the same time they are acting like the lowest of the low. So that's my point.
True.
I'm done.
Maybe that's why there is furries after all.
Benny is done.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by the lowest of the low?
So, as a human being, right, you're the best of creation, right?
You're giving
the responsibility by the Almighty to build the earth,
you haven't proven
inherit the earth.
This is based off of theology. Okay.
Wait.
Can't he just say his point without nasty people?
Wait. Can you let him finish, bro? For real.
Let me finish. So God gives you a chance, a great chance to be higher than the angel, because the angel has no free will. You have a free will by your own choice.
What?
You have a great potential.
Let him finish.
Okay, let me finish.
Nah, you can't just say nonsense
Let me
and not
finish.
get challenged, Benny.
Bro,
Benny, where did you get that angels don't have free will?
Wait.
Let me finish.
We can challenge him.
Benny, are you not going to answer my fucking question? Do you think we need to hear you lecture?
Let him.
Do you think we need to hear a speech from Benny?
I asked a question. I asked a question.
What question did you ask, bro?
I asked a question. I asked a question to him. I had asked.
And I'm also asking a question. When did it say that angels don't have free will?
Okay,
where does it say that?
But you're being
no. He doesn't need to finish. He just needs to answer questions.
No. You're being
look. This is
me.
called a conversation. I don't even know that you exist, bro. So there's no way I could be disrespectful to you. Number one.
It doesn't.
Anyway, I'm about to lower you because you're a lowbrow troll. Anyway, so Benny, when does it say? Where does it say that angels don't have free will?
Can you finish your point, please?
Can I
Benny,
first?
I know this guy. I know this guy wants to massage your rectum, but I don't think he actually wants to massage your rectum. I think he's setting you up for failure. So what I want you to do is just simply have an intellectual conversation about the things that you've said and engage with.
I do want to have an intellectual
I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you, dude.
That's why.
So Benny, where does it say that angels don't have free will?
Okay, in the Quran. Okay, I'm done. So let me land. Let me land, bro. I'm flying.
Where does it say? Benny, what's so hard about this, bro?
In the Quran. in the Quran.
Do you think we really want to hear you lecture?
He asked,
you think we really want to hear you give a sermon?
He answered your question.
Where in the Quran, Benny?
He answered your question.
Where in the Quran, Benny?
Can we move on? Can we move on? He said the Quran. Move on.
Benny, where in the Quran? It's not that hard, bro.
So I asked you a question, Benny. Why do you think they were the lowest of the low? We're acting like we're the lowest.
He's telling you. But within his explanation,
I haven't even fucking heard his explanation.
Okay, within his explanation is an unfounded claim that angels don't have free will. So I don't know why you would listen to an explanation that's already faulty.
I was not finished.
And not actually substantiated. Wouldn't you want an explanation that has all of its parts substantiated?
Okay,
or do you want a bedtime story from Benny?
Of course, but how?
All right, if you want a bedtime story from Benny, you and Benny get a private room and each other can fucking cuddle and talk sweet nothings into each other's ears.
Wow, you are angry. Maybe he would have.
No, dude, I'm just actually trying to stay on point, if I may.
That was my.
We know Benny. You might have just met Benny, but we know Benny, and we know Benny loves to preach, and he loves to fucking monologue. So if you allow Benny to monologue, he'll do so for the next 5 days straight until Ramadan. Right? And we don't need Benny monologue until Ramadan. We need Benny to make motherfucking substantiated claims in this bitch.
No, my only issue with you was I thought you were just
I don't give a fuck.
I thought you were
I don't give a fuck.
Okay, then shut the fuck up, please, so I can hear what he has to say.
Dude, you want to suck Benny's hoo-ha,
I don't.
and that is your private business.
I'm actually against what he's saying. I just needed to hear.
I know
it
you are. I know you are. I know you are. I can tell you were trolling him.
That's not a troll. That's not a troll.
Look,
it's just a
you're
setup
pretending.
for
You're
conversation
pretending
and
that you're on the same side, and you're actually. Look, if you really want to have an honest, if you really want to
I don't have the same. How do you know I have the same belief systems as you or him?
Nancy, if you really want to have a conversation, and especially if you don't believe or you don't agree with the person, you're gonna want them to substantiate their claims.
Of course.
Or maybe you're not just a good interlocutor, right? Maybe you're just not good at this.
That's cool.
Right?
You can feel as though
let me do my thing, since I'm not as incompetent as you. Let me do my thing, and we'll get more done. Right?
Okay, cool.
Concrete,
cool. But how do you know he didn't even finish? He didn't even finish.
He said that angels don't have free will. And I just need to know, where does it say that in the Quran?
In the Quran.
I think your blood pressure is rising a lot.
Yo, Benny, where does it say angels don't have free will, bro?
He said in the Quran.
That's not informative.
Okay, so, bro, it's not a long flight. Trust me. I want to land quickly.
All right, Benny, man. You're a real coward. Venus did this to Benny last time, right? Benny made a lot of fucking claims. Venus pressed him on a lot of things that he said. He made him go bring back sources.
I don't even remember my question. Oh, shit.
Like, give him a chance to speak on this. And
look, maybe you're charitable to dishonest, obfuscating, dodging people. But for me, it's a waste of time. Now go ahead, and we'll see if actually Benny will answer any questions to substantiate his claim.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a prediction that he's not.
He does it.
And I'm just going to say, okay, you're going to let him fucking pull one over on you because you're naive.
You're assuming.
So go ahead, Benny.
And you're wrong.
Go ahead. And he's giggling. He's giggling because he already knows his motive. He already knows his MO. I know his MO. He knows his MO. You obviously don't. But go ahead, Benny.
That's cool.
Man, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, dude.
Go ahead, Benny.
Okay, so it's a quick flight, bro. I'm gonna
go ahead, Benny. I want to hear about how long the flight is.
Jesus.
Oh man. Okay, wait,
cool.
Benny, you had made the claim earlier that like humans act the lowest
shut
of
that
the.
piece of shit up, please?
Okay, wait, relax. Okay, you had made the claim earlier, Benny, that humans are acting the lowest of the low. Why do you feel that way?
Okay, it's a quick flight, so let me land.
Fucking asshole. Nobody cares how long the flight is.
Okay.
Just fucking take off.
I thought he was actually on a plane.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so cool. So concrete. Just to come back to Venus. Venus was talking. It was he, right? So he was talking 99% of the time. I didn't even speak. So he muted me. He muted me, and it looks like he dominated. So that's not fair or concrete. And you know that. You have to know that, bro.
I don't care.
Nancy, I told you, and you're dealing with it now.
No.
And now you're using my tactics of keeping them on task.
Okay, he didn't even.
You fucking hypocrite! You fucking hypocrite!
No, that's not hypocritical.
Yelling.
You were assuming. Relax, my friend. My friend, you were assuming he didn't even get what he had to say out yet. Okay, now that he's actually doing the bullshit, I can start calling him out on it.
Yeah, what I'm trying to explain to your naive, inexperienced ass is that I've dealt with Benny on prior occasions. So what you wanted to do is give him the benefit of the doubt against, advice. And now you found out for yourself, and you're not actually willing to acknowledge that Benny is being slippery and not actually dealing with the point.
He is.
And instead you want to fight with me because you were just so inexperienced.
I'm not fighting.
Handy pantheon at all, or are you kind of converting some sort of polyamory into your this intonation, the thing you got, that got him all tripped up? Are you where did you draw that notion from?
Wait, I didn't understand a word you just said.
Well, Concrete had asked something, and he's upset, I think, because
I'm not upset.
Something like a Hindi.
He's very upset.
And I'm just curious.
Hindi.
And I think you were implying something
He's a Muslim.
pluralistic. I already forgot. I'm just wondering at this point, because I'm forgetting, whether or not
I asked Benny,
got him all upset there.
Okay, no. I asked Benny a very simple question. I asked. He had said he feels as if humans are acting the lowest of the low. Like are lower than any animal could or lower than any animal ever will be. He says that's how humans are acting as of today. I asked him why he feels that way.
Okay, cool.
That was my question.
Let me address. Okay, let me address the point then. I was addressing Venus because concrete came with that, not me. So okay, let me go back to the point. So, look, so
yeah, you ran away from Venus, bro.
Please, man.
See,
calm your panties down, bro. Why are you so upset?
Man.
Concrete, Venus muted me,
Why
bro.
don't you take a
Venus
chill
muted
pill?
me. Concrete. Okay, so what we say is that how can I simplify for you, right? So you understand. So we say that jinn and human beings are the only creation that we know of in reality that has the choice to fulfill the purpose and to submit, and all the other creations already submit and don't have a choice. So they're already doing their job, what they are created for.
Yeah, where does it say that in the Quran?
Wait.
So let me
Benny,
land,
do you
bro.
not know your Quran that you cannot cite the verses in the chapters?
Wait.
Is that the problem?
Can we let him speak? Yeah.
Let me land, bro.
I
It's
like
not a long
literally
flight.
this isn't I don't even think I'm trying to argue. I want to understand what his perspective is.
Okay, that's cool. That's
Benny,
cool,
I don't
bro.
like these playing metaphors coming out from a Muslim there.
Okay, so cool. So what we say is that jinn and mankind, jinn is more stronger. They have more. They are more stronger, but mankind is more intelligent. So we are the best of creation, and we given a responsibility on Earth to be a representative of the that we are the best of creation. And so, because of our own choice, we can have the potential to make the right choices, to be potential to achieve greatness. But human beings can be lower than an animal because an animal does what he created for. He just follows his instinct. Is very impulsive. If he's very hungry, he's attacking. If he's horny, he just have sex. He has no shame. He has no morality. You know, nothing. But a human being has that. A human being has that. A human has impulse control. Human can think before they do something. They can control their desires and everything. But what we see is that human beings now acting like animals. They have no impulse control. They have no control of their desires. The desires become their God, and they are obey. And this is why human beings are lower than animal, because the animal is already doing is created for, but a human being is lower than animal. So that's why
I would disagree.
It's presumptive. But
I would disagree.
This is an interesting theological stack, I do have to admit, where the human can rise above or below angels and above or below animals. It's peculiar in that regard.
I guess my only thing is we can talk about what he's saying by backed up by the Quran in a second, as Concrete wanted to do. But my only thing is I disagree with the whole humans are the only ones that know that can make conscious decisions, because there are plenty of animals that can make conscious decisions that don't. Yeah, the ravens are extremely smart and they're conscious of their own thoughts and they can make decisions. That's an example. I could pull up more, but it's a scientific. I can pull it up. I could be wrong, but.
But I mean, just the part about that they know
it's a scientific study.
They know their own thoughts. I didn't know what you meant by that.
Well, yeah, because they can do here. I'm gonna show you.
My cat confirmed for me that it wanted me to put food out for this other cat.
Why make the assumption? That's not what he means. Why make the assumption that we're the only people aware? Right? My question is why make the assumption that we're the only people aware?
No, not aware. That's not my point. My point is that we can.
Can make better decisions that are not animalistic and instinctual. Because ravens have been known to do that. They're able to do obstacle courses, and octopi are able to do that.
The the inflation of the hedonism that comes along with sexual activity amongst breeding human couples yields that hedonism, and it's by virtue, meaning unless you're an antinatalist and that everyone should just live as if they're dying to God's soul and there is no future of humanity or need be. Otherwise, we have that animalistic nature and thing to contend with. Your antipathy towards it is interesting that you like seem to want to step around that.
Wait, I don't understand a word. He's
Jimmy,
listening to me.
off on camera. We just made a joke of it. I said I don't search masturbatory porn, meaning so it's outside of my wheelhouse. Even the idea is crazy, right? But it seems like you're implementing something like God doesn't like hedonism, and yet seemingly under certain theologies it would be okay to have kids and enjoy the process.
I mean,
yeah, you can have kids. That's nothing wrong with that, but it has to be. Yeah, but it has to be in a marriage. So in a marriage is noble.
That's just a
that you raise a family, that you raise family with a mother and a father and kids, because it's so that's noble. But if you just screw around like an animal, that's not noble, and that's why there's many diseases and you get in trouble. So everything has how can I say that? Everything has harm to that, harm factor. If you act like an animal, you'll be harmed. You have a disease, or you will be in trouble. You'll be in jail, or whatever.
There's nothing wrong with acting like an animal.
No.
Hey, Benny, I have a joke.
Mm-mm.
What did Muhammad Atta not say to the pilot? Let me land, bro.
If you act animalistic,
Let me land, bro.
you'll be harmed. Doesn't make sense.
I get it. Crash into a building.
I'm trying to see if I even understood you rightly. I didn't catch the joke. Can you run it all by me?
Yeah. So never. So what did Muhammad Atta not say to the pilot or to the flight school instructor? Whatever. Pick your setup. Let me land, bro. Let me land. Benny's catchphrase. Let me land, bro. Never mind. Forget
Huh. Well, I see, and I don't know that character, so I'm not certain I understand the joke.
Oh yeah, he's been saying it all night. Let me land, bro. Like that's when he's trying to make a point. He's like, "Hey, it's a quick flight." Never mind.
Okay.
I get it.
I'm saying it's a good joke.
He says, I'm a son of God, an expression, and I'm part angel and part man, and I can prove it because my name given to me before my memory was Michael, and Michael's an archangel, and therefore all Michaels are archangels, and all Sagittarians are fire signs, unless you're part of Ophiuchus, and you're on the 13th, and some of that is too, etc., whatever.
That was good.
Lucky me. What's your worldview?
It's all of the above. I'm pretty certain. It's like we have to listen to your whole thing, and then we got to listen to all these other whole things. So these are all whole things. These are like little nuggets of occurrence. And it's like, okay, so if I'm going to describe rightly about what I'm witnessing in the world, it's full of any instance that I'm able to reference and recognize and have some sense about thinking about it. And that includes even not knowing whether or not I'm trusting what it is I'm thinking about it or if I'm going to remember it later. But it's just a mixed bag, man. It's a huge mixed bag. There's a lot of difference. There's claims of similarity. People preference similarity over difference. But I think there's huge difference. And I think that embedded contradiction, meaning that no matter what you think, if any of you have ever eaten meat, the flesh of another animal, and the real God says, you committed murder and you ate it, and therefore Muslim fire. Then you're like, whatever, I'm a Sagittarian. I'm a fire sign already. Christian view, Jewish view, that the heart of God is made of fire.
Can you speak in normal English?
I can.
Please?
I actually have to take a call here, so excuse me.
Yeah, he can't.
Hey. Oh. Are you there? Hello? Oh. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Hey. Hey. Actually, I was kind of thinking and debating on a chat channel. I'm actually recording like this whole thing, but when I got your message, yeah. No. Hey. How's it going? I'm recording what you're saying. No. Yes. No. Yes. No, I'm not on purpose. I'm just letting you know. Like I'm painting and I'm recording, and I called you back even though I didn't pick up in time. I tried, but you know. So, but I thought, well, I'll give you a call back, and then I walked outside. But then I can't just hang out outside because I got all these acrylics open on the wall and stuff.
Jeez, nothing changes.
Yeah.
No, I was like, I'm on a singing app, Smule, and I've been on it for like 3 years because I sing all the time. And so, because then I sing, when I changed my Facebook thing, there was this person, I wasn't quite sure who it was. Well, it was Rex with somebody else's name, and then TikTok, and then Smule, and I don't know what's going on. He said he's really sad and did this little mark, and then he said call Mike.
And so you think it's Rex? You're not absolutely positive. You're
No, because of the stuff he said is how he said it to me before.
What do you want me to figure out? What's my Encyclopedia Brown little tour of you and Rex that you're trying to get me to?
No, it's like something's wrong.
With Rex?
Yeah, and I says, well, you can call me or whatever. And he goes, well, can you call Mike? And he put these little smile face, you know.
Well, because you know, you disrupt what, you know, I mean, his family there is hugely important to him in kind of a folding way. So you know, like the fact is that you guys have a history of cyclical getting back together with each other, and he kind of you're putting pressure and tensors on that, and yet he's also tempted.
Think I was really, because
no, he does it too. He'll reach out to you on occasion or do whatever. But I'll tell you this: I think you both overly suspect the other one. Anytime maybe some sort of ancillary happening is occurring, you're just automatically first assume it's the other one that did it, and then try to resolve it backwards, like figure out how it wasn't them.
Like I care about him.
Well, sure.
But some of the stuff he said just sounded sad and depressing and shit. So.
You guys were actually at it for a while then. Okay.
No, I just saw it because if you go onto Smule and you're a VIP member, you literally can't text people on there. It's a singing app. It's not a social app. And like, I'll kick people off just for talking to me. Because they're like, do you want to get together? And it's like, no, I'm here to sing. So if you want to talk about, you know, doing a gig or something together, or you know, because you can sing with them, and you know, sometimes you sing with the artist. It's kind of cool. And you know, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I have like 1,200 followers. So when I got a like, and then somebody sent me a little tiny text message, which I get all the time, and I thought, well, okay, well, who's this? And so I push on it, and it's Rex. His whole name. His whole name. And his picture.
So is he scapegoating it on me? Like, am I the deference?
No,
like, call Mike.
Maybe you should call Mike. Maybe Mike will tell you what's going on. I don't know.
Well, I have been doing like something a little, I don't know, like arguing my theology to include hedonism in it. And I wasn't because I'm depicting like sexual acts in a painting right now. Like Spock is behind this like one-eyed lady giving it to her from behind with her tits out on the edge of a pool.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's just kind of interesting. And in this one, I also had my dick out, right? Like I painted my own dick out in the painting. And then this lady's tits are hanging out. And then this other guy, he's going down on this other woman on the outside of the pool. And then so the weird coincidence is there's somebody named Hoops the King that just posted her image on Instagram, you know, and I had already painted what I saw as her photo, like coming after the fact. Right, like she appeared
in your mind, so that's not the same thing as her being a model.
No. It's on the painting. The point is, she hasn't seen this painting, and I painted it, and then what I had already painted kind of really matched her. So I send her a photo of it and said, this is the post. I'll send it to you too. Yeah, but anyway, so what else is going on besides, like Rex is losing his shit, saying, call Mike.
Well, yeah, I think he is losing his shit.
Well, why do you think he's losing his shit?
He just is like, one thing Rex would always say is, because I was singing this song that he likes, what the hell is it called?
Janky Family?
It's by, big time country star.
Johnny Cash? Frank Williams? No,
not that old.
Okay.
Garth Brooks?
Garth Brooks?
Garth Brooks, yeah.
Okay.
And he would sing that song to me, right? All the time we went karaokeing, and I sing it a lot because people ask me to, other than Disney. I have a lot of Disney because they tell you what your voice can do. It's country and it's Disney, so that's it. But, so he said that song, he says, I want to not be one, I want to live inside of you. Is where I'm most, because he said that before in my lifetime.
Rex says, not Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Okay, so, live inside of you is a metaphor to get you pregnant. It's a metaphor for getting a dick inside you. It's a metaphor for living inside of your world, though, too.
Well, he said, I'm so lost.
Yeah.
And the song, how does the song go?
It goes like, wow, I'm gray and I'm horny, and who's my old girlfriend that I can first, toy with and
it's like
follow?
the mistakes you've made.
Oh, I don't
Flying down or crawling down the avenue. I sing it all the time. I think I could just whip out the lyrics.
Yeah, that I don't sing. I was listening to that song, or trying to get it called "I Can't Change That." I can't change my mold song and video. But it was like when I typed in "I can't change," this new rap with this black lady that had Cruella de Vil hair, split black and white, but in a fro and laying down. And it was a really cool rap song. I was able to break dance while I was listening to it. And I haven't not break dance spin around, but more like popping. I was a master popper, and so it was kind of cool, And that was just today. But I never did listen to that. I've been on these channels arguing about theology and God, and then making some accusations.
Nothing changes.
Well, no, I wasn't. I took a huge break from this, and my microphone and everything hadn't worked, but I'm also something's definitely off on how it is I'm approaching my life. I'm not solving certain things fast enough, nicely enough to feel like I'm skidding out into the future. Well,
it's kind of been a really bad year, 4 years. I mean, I haven't slept so well and been so inspired about these paintings I want to do. I even sang a song in Portuguese. Not one, but 3 of them. And it's just kind of
Do Portuguese people have more porches than non-Portuguese people?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm singing, but they like it. So I get flowers and shit, so it's good.
Like digital flowers or real flowers?
Yeah, but people have to pay for them.
Yeah.
And they do.
Oh, no, I mean, women have it, this OnlyFans thing, man. Lots of women are taking advantage of that, and then maybe lots of men are taking advantage of that, too.
And some of them are terrible sounding. I only sing with the people, I don't know, probably Latino, nothing over, in, Japan, Korea. I would sing with them.
Because of your extensive knowledge of those areas?
500 likes.
Yes.
But it's because they still sound Chinese to me.
Yeah, they sound Chinese to you, and you may or may not understand you, but they might be really happy about just the fact that you're lip syncing.
They put 500 people, so some person that's English listens to it, and they're like, "Oh my God, how'd you get so many likes?" So I had to go and kind of thin through my people.
See, and part of your knowledge is your sales technique ability and just your general persona. You know, you always had that lofty way about you, and you know, I personally thought when I first met you that you were a little bit more peddly and light prior to meeting Rex, meaning that I thought like his interactions with you extended beyond mine, but it appeared to be like rough, like the approximation to violence, like, and then in my mind I was like, is this something you guys normally do that you participate in and you cycle in and out of? And it seemed as if it was confirmed, in fact, that you guys are quite cyclical. And then, so that field of S&M, you know, seemed as if it was established prior to my showing.
That was the one thing, I guess, we had that was good. But, you know, having goals and ambitions to better our life together, either as a couple or not. You know, I see him as kind of stagnant. He's still in that old place, at least I think so. And he doesn't really move on. It takes him to, you know, maybe it's because he's Sagittarius. I don't know.
It might be he's financially lesser than you might presume him to be, you know.
Well, he wasted all that money.
No, he floated it. He just didn't have a job while he was busy holding down the bills during his wife's working. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just, and to be honest, I don't know his finances. I don't know if it's gone. If he said, "Well, my money's gone. I'm losing my shit. My wife works."
Well, he just told me that he had spent it all on alcohol and women. And I'm like, well, thanks for telling me that.
Well, and there's some hyperbole there, but at the same time, it's like, I think, you know, Rex's behavior and audaciousness towards women was something that did rub off as a stylistic that I perhaps because I've been on such a lone streak, maybe I need to implement that. More of a...
yeah, but then you come across as an asshole.
Well...
Or you can get more women because women want the playboy, the rough guy.
At least a little bit, at least like managed, you know. But I can't say all women like managed.
Most women that are educated aren't gonna be, you know, I can walk away from this.
Yeah. But some of them might go into it also. Like, hey, I'm only doing this to walk away from it.
Issues.
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, Rex, what Rex did do for me, and I mean, when I seen him at Bally's, I mean, both our eyes locked, and it was on from that moment on. And he helped me get over my first husband. Like, so I'm so grateful that load went to somebody else.
Oh, that he picked up one of your loads.
To get peace.
Yeah.
And forgiveness. So.
And then you were upset because the relationship didn't, in fact, unfold the way in which you wanted it, and he had many varied escaping from the ranch episodes from you, and probably vice versa, because it's like you wanted to escape and then get caught, and then whatever you did for him, other than just mere sexual gratification, I'm sure is huge. And yet at the same time, however you guys locked eyes, had your history, did your thing, you're still in some echo. If not a cycle, it's an echo. And it's problematic, but that's something, you know, that you guys have to work out ultimately.
Well, I think that people that are perfect together should never be together because it doesn't work.
What do you mean? If they're perfect together, wouldn't it work?
The same thing if you're both very sexual and associate sex with some kind of love. But if you were to buy a house, go down the street, be married 20 years, it's not going to happen. It just comes, that to me, it comes once in a lifetime, that kind of love. And it's bad. It's narcissistic. It's horrible.
Well, but
because I would rather have stability and love not sex and lust.
Yeah, but would you rather have not had kids because you enjoyed your sex to procreate with them?
Oh, well, it was how it was. That's what I wanted when I was very young. So when I divorced Mark and met Rex and Roger, my second husband, almost the same time, I thought Roger is going to be a really good dad to my kids, and they need some stability. So that's the choice I make, Plus, I wanted another baby, and Rex wasn't into that.
Well, Rex was a big baby.
All the women in Utah.
Yeah.
Because all the blondes here,
Yeah. Yeah.
Cookie cutter blonde everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
No, but not bodacious often. They're a rarity on the bodacious department, where certain people are the exception to that norm. But that is kind of a Utah, like skinny little blonde chick, or like
with
Mormon
3 kids and 5 kids.
or something like that. Certainly that concurs. But that's in there. That's in the mixed bag also. So you guys are a mixed bag, is my point. You guys are. And I don't know. All I can do is say, like, I would imagine if he's positive towards you and retractive, it's more like interpreting a bounded wine from another universe, and then it's not truly, it's a desire towards, but it might be more of an owning. Like, he just needs to get his Lisa communication fix on, and even that becomes problematic to his relationship with his wife.
I wouldn't want to hurt another person.
Well, I don't know to what extent, your empathy is with Rosario in terms of like, hey, Rex, let me just go down on you in this parking lot in the back.
The first time this happened, I was playing with, on Christmas Day, I had my son's 3.5-pound Pomeranians with their little Santa Claus suits on, and it almost went viral on TikTok because I was playing and they were jumping in the snow and diving, and I was getting these hits on these little girls. And then I decided, oh my God, I'm too old to be on here. But one of them was Rosemary Chaplin.
Rosemary?
So, she was saying how cute the dogs were. I did not want to think. And then I got this thing.
Might have been an attempt to befriend you.
Oh my God. I go, yeah, they're cute, right?
Yeah, okay.
So that was Rex saying that. So it's not like.
Oh, you don't think Rosario ever reached out to you once? You don't think she ever reached out and tried to be your friend once, and then you like thought it was suspicious, and then he said, "Well, she is a psycho," and then used that to close you out? No, I think that happened. I think he probably has said that.
He was done with her, or she was done with him.
No. Well, as far as I know, last I chatted, he's still there, and same stuff's going. But you might. That was a while.
And,
I don't.
There was a Amber Alert.
Yeah, why did it come up? Rex Chaplin.
Yeah, it did actually.
No, it didn't. You are making that up.
He was the dad. And then my friend Kevin told me about it.
What? Are you saying there's a real, like, did he run off with his daughter? There's an Amber Alert? Is that what you're saying is going on?
No, there was an Amber Alert and it was called off.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't remember that, but that's something else. And glad it got called off, His motivations seem on the up and up in general, although he does have that extra appendage of overly salacious desire and dominance, which perhaps that's why I haven't had kids, is because I didn't go around corralling women. I suppose I was getting so much when I was younger that I didn't really need to corral them as much, like move them around on the bed and just position them. It wasn't a big dramatic thing. It's just a thing.
Yeah, and like I have this guy, he's a what is he? He's a master sergeant, and he's 38 years old. I'm like, dude, I can't date you, okay? I've got kids your age. He's like, there's no way. And I go, there's a way.
Well, did you just start dating him?
I'm not interested in older or younger men.
Well, see, you have your edges, you know. You lay out a good like, well, here's the conditionals, and this is where I'm at, and I'm not there, and you know, meaning you're temperamental to the point that you are, you know, you gotta be you and do you, and you know, anyone else, you know, like save us, you know, Lisa's been here and confusing our emotional and you know, financial world. Not that you didn't disrupt my financial world.
So when I go to church, there's literally the last mass of the day, which I haven't been in 11 months because of this coronavirus. The last mass of the day, it's not really called singles, but everybody that's single gets together and we barbecue, we like fix things together and laugh together and that's the kind of person I want to be in a relationship with. Because beauty fades, and, you know, I just want somebody that makes me laugh. And we have the same interests, you know, my flowers, shit.
Interests, you know? Like having sex with younger women with the hype of maybe trying to get them pregnant? Is that kind of the shared value that you have?
I mean, I just don't want to get left again. And you know, in the Catholic Church, and you get married in the church, and you do that, you're excommunicated, you're done.
Yeah, well, I've never been married. Not officially. It's spiritual.
By God, you know what? If it happened, and he cheated on me, I wouldn't give up on him. I will tell you that. I wouldn't give up on him. She will give up on him, though.
Well, I don't know when that would happen. I mean, they've been together for some time now. So
yeah, but see, you say, no, you know, get a divorce. Fuck you.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you have history of proving his infidelity, I don't doubt it, nor do I judge him at this stage. You have your poll on him.
You mean Rex?
Yeah.
Rex is incapable of having. When he moved in with me and he drove all the way with all his shit and moved in with me, he just doesn't. He was telling me all these stories about having sex with women in the phone closet because he was IT. He just can't keep his hands off of women. And I remember one woman, I turned around and she unzips her top and exposes herself. And Rex really wasn't quite drunk enough for that to happen. And then I've seen her in the bathroom, and I didn't know that was her. And she's like, "Do you have some nose candy?" I go, "Nose candy? What is that?" You know? She goes, "You know, blow." I go, "Don't know what that is either." She said, "Cocaine." And I said, I don't. I've never even done any of that stuff.
But knowing Rex.
So that girl ended up in my salon a few days later. She wanted her hair done, and she was talking about suicide. So I excused myself, went to the back, called 911, said, "I've got this girl in my church who's going to kill herself. I'm doing her hair. I'll keep her here." And so, you there?
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, my phone's blowing up. So they came and got her, and she was really thankful after that, but turned out that was the girl that lifted her shirt or unzipped her top. And the only reason why she knew that is because I had a picture of Rex and I at a Halloween competition.
So
she recognized him. Women have always been doing it to him, and I guess if you don't stop it, I mean, I think he's married to this woman, and it's just killing him. Because I think she's around a lot of family members that, quite frankly, would scare the shit out of me.
Maybe he's got some sort of threat from her family, and yet at the same time, he's had his reasonable ability to leave the situation before, meaning he had justification and he chose, to be there with his daughter and go through this process, and so something does seem like it's tracking okay. So I don't know what you're reading, unless Rex is like, I'm losing my mind, I'm going to kill my...
I am lost, don't leave me. I'm lost, don't leave me. And he'd always say that to me. He had, a dream that we were at a bar, and I went to the bathroom, and all of a sudden he couldn't find me, and he woke up out of this dream. It was like a night terror that he couldn't find me forever. So maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I just want peace. And I'm like, yeah, you're giving it. Because my first thing was, I was being kind of a bitch. I said, so you found me again. Are you going to sing with me, or are you just going to sit there? Because you can't really sit on these things because they're not used to socially, you're not supposed to date on them.
Yeah, but he's married on them. Are you talking about Rex?
No, but if somebody sees that, because I sing in groups, I have 3 groups that we sing together. So when I see that red dot apply, that's from one of my VIP groups. So they see this person they don't know. I mean, they don't care. But like as a woman, I've had way too many men. They don't sing. They want to get my number. They want to do all this stuff. And
you got to think about that.
It's just crazy.
Well, the thing is,
I'm moving to North Carolina. What was I saying?
Oh.
For a month, because I dated this guy. I met him at Bally's.
Sex was good. Sex was good.
No, I never had sex with him. He's a good Christian guy.
Oh. What? See, and then that's the other thing. It's like Rex is your little devil guy you get to go back to and be hedonistic, and then everyone else follows some ideal something or another, and so then you hold yourself because you're like, yeah, I'm gonna remain a new virgin, and I'll just wait for you, Rex, and then Rex is like, no, dude, she'll fucking do whatever if it makes sense to her. She's fucking playing, and I'm like, well, I figure she's fucking playing people, but thanks for the confirmation.
Passionate woman.
Yeah, I'm a creative, passionate woman. Well, so anyway.
Love, light, and joy.
Yeah, you did blow plenty of clown car energy up my artistic, like trying to give me like positive on what it is I was painting in that print and that painting. I have to say, I think it was a goal,
You had to been there, but you caught it perfectly.
Yeah.
When I see you have that and you'll be standing in front of it, like on Facebook, I know where I was when you were doing that. I laugh every time I see it.
Well, whoever buys it. Yeah, I think I haven't sold that one yet. So there's that.
Well, maybe just there's got to be the story with it. I don't know.
Well, plenty of people buy it in the park.
When pot got legal, that's what the name of it should be.
Well, no, actually, before pot got legal is what that should be called. Maybe. Yeah, but that was was my...
On our way to Wendover before it was legal.
I call it Mary Kay Clown Car, but you might have told me different anecdotes. And so, but anyway, and you were good with Mary Kay and the candle and the pink. And
this is exactly what I saw. No, it wasn't a convertible, but you couldn't fit their hair and stuff inside. It's just funny that it's... they're totally getting high, and they have the gray blue hair, and it's just funny. Because had I not seen it, I mean, I laughed to almost peed my pants. Me and my friend, because she unrolled the window just a little bit, and then the other lady did, and this blue flumes and just smelled pot. And you couldn't even see in the car really. It was so laden with pot smoke. It was so funny. Anyway. So.
Yeah, things in my area are a little more strict and careful and omitted. So, that's my, but even when something's omitted and when something's, committed, then, those play against each other, right? So you and Rex, just your relationship is janky around the edges, and you guys somehow seem to be, okay with it. You're justifying it through ideologic lines in your mind, and presuming the depth of his relationship with his wife and daughter. Historically, my presumption is, minus any notions of infidelities directly, is it, while even in the face of that, seems to be like the most dominant thing. Meaning, however he has or hasn't reacted to you is and is what it isn't. And if you guys are touchy-feely around the furry edges and that's how you want to live your future, so be it. If on the other hand, there's new grand news between you guys, you two, then...
Well, I noticed the dates on there. So every time there's been a time where I've sang some, especially when I sang the one song. I noticed that was the 17th or the 20th of November, right near his birthday. So that could have been something. And then the Pomeranians, that was on Christmas, so it might be just that he's being stirred up, stuff. So who knows? And then there was a picture. My friend took a picture of me outside. It was in Sugar House, and it was like Santa Claus's village.
Okay.
And
what, at the library?
I was turning sideways, and he sent me this text message, "Is this you?" And I'm like, who the hell is this, So, hiding the text. And I'm like, oh, I know who it is, totally.
Is it because you guys share common coded words, like he would just know what you would title a handle on a particular media website, or are you guys busy like, here I am on Instagram, here I am on Twitter?
How he found me, because the first one, he must have been going through, because you have to have if you're VIP, you have all your awards and your roses and all this other stuff people give you, and then there's a big picture of me. I took the one painting down that I've got to enlarge, that where she's partially the digital one.
That
so
one,
there's a big picture of me that's just in black and white, and then there's a smaller picture of me that says VIP, and then it has my mission statement from when I went to Impact Training. And he also went to Impact Training, so he knows that.
So you guys share that indoctrination.
I'm surprised you actually found me on Snow, because I have a fake name on there. So it's Liza for you. And I got rid of that because men trying to populate my Facebook to see where I live, So, but I did share some songs to people that are on my Facebook who are very good friends or family.
Why don't you sing it to my audience? It's not a live audience, but to the future audience of this recording.
I've got, what do you want?
I don't know.
I can send to you.
Knock one out. Why don't you just sing one?
Well, I have to have my music. I have like 1,200 recordings. Which one do you want to hear?
Well, I don't know. That one's kind of up to you. I think it's something that one of them that you think would be the most impressive.
I got the one. It was going to be like probably by the Bee Gees. How about Ruby Tuesday?
Okay.
Yeah. I did good on that one.
Ruby Tuesday.
I have to go into it, and then I have to share it with you on Facebook.
Well, if you wanted to sing a couple bars, you could.
No, it doesn't sound as good.
Well,
I am professionally mixed. I sound good.
But your lyrics, you probably came up with some snazzy lyrics, meaning if you got this many tracks, you probably have a couple lyrics that you like.
Hey there, Mr. Tin Man. You don't know how lucky you are. That one?
Mm-hmm.
About how shitty it is to have a heart.
I am painting my heart in a jar now, and 2 other hearts.
Oh, I've sang that 1,000,000 times, and people like it.
Heart in a jar, and I've stirred it with rum and whiskey. And look, in this case, it's just an energy drink called Rip It. Rip it good. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, my friend drinks that all the time. I go, you're going to start pea and green, you know?
A crack that
blue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll send you one, but I got to go because I am singing tonight. I just thought I ran across that.
The vaccine might make your pea green. Did you get yourself vaccinated?
No.
If you do you think your pee will come out green?
Well, no. Well, you can take lots of things and it'll come out green.
Like
why do you think that we don't even get it done? I think my doctor can, because I've got that autoimmune Epstein-Barr virus forever. Most hairstylists get it, but she might be able to get me in there sooner. I'm just afraid of it because I have really rare blood.
Well, for whatever the reason, I recommend people remain as cautious away from it until there's longer term feedback.
Well, cause my blood type, I'm AB negative with the RH factor, and like when they did my blood test, Mike, it says I am my blood is from South Africa, but I identify as a Caucasian.
Yeah, there's
and so that kind of blood comes from that. There's only like 1.5% of people that even have that kind of blood.
Well, because of the expansion of the UK, South Africa was distributed with white people.
You know?
Well, yeah, the idea of the old Caucasians existing in the U.S. and in Africa.
Well, my mom said there was the N-word, which she never used, a nigger in the woodpile, and she never told us what that meant.
Well, that sounds kind of ruthless. I mean, I know some people.
What the hell does that mean? I'm like, I'm not offended. She goes, it's just your blood type. So, but anyway, it's pretty bad if you get COVID, and I'm kind of just scared to have it in the.
There are Ethiopian Israelites, like black versions of the Hebrew.
Yeah.
And they're from Africa, but they're often, not there. Even if their bloodlines mix with the Sephardic and the Hasidic mix. Then they mixed, and so there's a lot of this notion about what a cultural or a genetic bloodline is that's disputable, meaning even people that try to track Jewish to the mother. I think the genocode that closely is most reduced is actually on the male chromosome, and because of that, if that is in fact the case, it would be more of a notion that Jewishism is culture.
Jordan's went back to the 12th century because I'm related to 5 kings in, Scotland, Ireland, where Edinburgh was, but that's not my mom's side. There was the Great Fire in Sicily, so he left his 5 kids and wife because she didn't want to be a Mormon, and then married my 14-year-old grandmother, and then left. So 2 of the oldest kids, their birthdays, they could have made it up within 3 or 4 years of it because they weren't sure of their age when they got off the boat.
Wow. But they didn't mistake the older one for the younger one, did they?
Huh?
They never mistook the older one for the younger one, did they? Okay,
no, it was just the fact that my grandmother died, so, and then the oldest was a boy. He was killed in a horse pulled him, and he died. And so he was only 20 years old. But my oldest aunt that died last year at 98, my mom said that she could get away with 3 years telling people either way. Because nobody's there to tell anybody any difference. And my grandpa died at 64. So, she also wrote a Harley Davidson too. She was kind of nuts. But, yeah. So we're really not sure at the age that, she came by. Because all the boat information says 2 children, and then the names of my grandfather and my grandmother had 5 different names because they're like horses. It goes down. They just changed her name to something short because she had so many names, which makes it hard to see what happened down there. So I have great cousins that live in Nepal that I never met. It's kind of weird.
Well, there's always the future when you get cracking through your decaying body, knocked off the cobwebs.
Well, I've always wanted to go there, but we don't have anything to go off of.
Well,
unless somebody's written in hospital records, probably.
Oh. Well, even to go immerse yourself in the region might be informative.
Yeah. You say, God, I kind of look like you. Something like that. They would be great aunts and uncles. But there was 5 of them, so I'm sure hospital records, would have the information. But like my mom's side she was in Sicily. So one part we're trying to get there, but my dad goes all the way back to like a really prominent duchess.
Well, what part of town are you in, by the way? Where are you at right now?
Oh, you mean what century?
No. Where's your location? Meaning you're in Salt Lake, right?
I'm in Cottonwood Heights.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember?
Yeah. I just didn't know if you had wheels or what was going on with that. Because Rex, I think he kept questioning me about where you were, and I said, well, God, I don't really remember where she went. I just know that, she went, she's no longer...
There's 750 apartments in here. You wouldn't find me.
By those ones by the subway downtown, right? Anyway, I conveniently forgot where you had mentioned you had moved, but it's not without him asking.
Huh. Maybe that's why he says don't lose me.
Is because I'll forget the memory of things like, hey, don't lose me.
In case I have to leave.
Well.
Yeah. Open the door, shut the door. Wow. That's how it works.
I think people as adults should be able to interact with their field of friends, but I also understand, constraining your way into an exclusive environment that has an internal environment.
Rex has it made, though. She's from a country that allows men to cheat. We're kind of, as Americans, really bent out of shape about sex. Heck, we don't even say the C word.
I don't know how good she'd be about it.
England, and they say fucking cunt all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I never say the C word. That's
well, if you generalize all women, like in no way is that woman not out cheating on Rex, then because all women have to eat, right?
just like in Germany, they just, they don't, it's like, even back when, as Princess Diana, all the married people would go and shack up with, richer Americans, and then that's why that king abstained the throne so he could marry that, what was her name, Wardley or something?
I thought you were talking about Diana Prince as not,
Princess Diana. I mean, they still do it.
No, but his wife is Mexican. His wife's Mexican, and you're talking about these cultures. And anyway, I don't know how much the generalization applies. I don't know how much the generalization actually applies to her. Just saying.
Well, I don't know if it does at all.
Yeah, but to you, it might. To Rex, it might. And meaning the point is, like, it's a mixed bag, and I don't toy with it. Meaning, I occasionally, once a year, will write my ex Carrie an email, but I really had to calm down and, like, let that go, even though in my mind I attempt to revisit it. Like, the odds of me actually intersecting her ever again are they seem very rare. And yet, perhaps I'm wrong.
You can imagine my thoughts when that happened here. So, oh my God, did he find me again? Because I don't know.
Right. Well, because I think if he feels like, I think one of you said, like, I think he thinks you slit one of his tires, and I think you think he slit one of your tires. No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, he's got these wild ideas, like, you're tracking him, and...
Remember I told you his van it got tagged, and I swear it said ass clown on it? But it really didn't. It just said ass on it.
Yeah, no, I think he said you might have done that.
I didn't do that. I drove through there right after I got back from, it's right when I moved into Miller Estates, and my friend goes, let's go do a drive-through. I go, all right. I don't think he still lives there, though. I go, oh my God, that's his van. I go, what does it say on it? And I thought it said ass clown, but no, it was just ass on it. And I did not do that. I would never do that.
Well, since we've been on the phone, I changed out one woman what looked like kind of a black eye, and instead I turned the black eye into the iris, and the non-black eye is the white part of a big cyclops eye of this blonde lady with her boobs out, and Spock is reaching around and grabbing and pinching a nipple while giving it to her from behind. But Spock has these, like, really big bloated lips. He kind of looks like a clown Spock.
I'll have to see that.
Yeah, I'll have to.
It's going in my head, but it's all there, all over. My son got me this really cool, like, I don't have the cord that goes with it, but it's so I can do giant digital arts. So I'm so excited to do it. It's like,
people like
it's like the old Macintosh,
like iPad.
It's about 2.5 feet wide, and it's got different styluses in it, and God, I can't wait, because I got a picture I want to redo that is going to be cool.
I'm busy not fasting. I should be intermittently fasting, but instead I'm cutting open some more pasta to boil or some stuff like that. Because I think
'tis the season.
I'm gonna blame it on this pastafarian, and I'm really upset at pastafarians because they keep talking about the flying spaghetti monster, and in my mind, what I saw, my electric red jellyfish star, is the closest thing to actually the real flying spaghetti monster that they're busy punning. And I argue that I saw that thing. I think it's a real thing, if that's the same thing that whoever really came up with the flying spaghetti monster saw. Or maybe it's just a commonality, right? But all I know is now even the flying spaghetti monster is also true, along with all religions and all ideas and everything else.
I should write a book about that. This is one of my children's books, Spaghetti Monster. Oh my God, that would be cool.
Well,
not as spaghetti, but look like spaghetti.
Well,
So-
and this one now, I'll have to send you a photo where I'm at on this, and maybe I can even add a more detail to this eye here while we're on the phone and doing this. Unless you got to run.
Well, I'm buying a car in about. I think they might have already called.
Oh.
But I can call you back when I'm done or something.
I ignored a lot of people and a lot of stuff, but yeah, you can call me back if you want.
Well, I have to have my car is been in the shop for 10 weeks. You probably got the memo though on Facebook.
Oh, maybe if I liked it, I guess I did. Now I got back from New Mexico. My van is in getting its transmission worked on.
Oh wow.
And
well, my whole car bit the dust, so I had to buy one. I was gonna buy one. The guy's like, got great credit. You know, you just not you. We're not gonna require you put anything down. So part-time job. I'm like, then I wouldn't have good credit. So no, I ended up getting a car from this guy that is. They've got a 5-star rating, and it's sad the owner got COVID. I don't know if he'll pull through. He's been in the hospital for like 6 weeks.
Oh.
But my car was in there for 10 weeks, and they have people they just abandon the cars, and they'll fix them up really nice and sell them. So he says, well, I'll keep yours, and then we can make out. He's got a 2008 it's a Forester.
Oh, okay.
A Subaru.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. I've seen pictures of it. So that's what he's probably calling about, because he's got several, and I like the fact they're good in the snow, and it's a 4-door. But their brake pads go every year.
See, I felt bad because when I broke down in New Mexico, I thought it was a solenoid issue, and I brought it to this one guy, and he had like this barn with a few cars on it. He worked on it, but mine was a little more complicated to get the solenoid off, and you have to disassemble all this stuff. And I thought, I really thought, like, God, this would be interesting for me to do and me to learn, but at the same time, like, I didn't actually know to the depth that I was getting into anything, and there wasn't a pit or there wasn't a raised area, and so I had taken the vehicle to a joint that basically said, like, look, we'll take a look at it. And I said, well, a solenoid problem. And then they said, well, look, maybe the whole transmission's blown out. We smelled it. They said just by smelling it, because they wouldn't even start it. They're just like, we're not going to work on it, and let you know, because I didn't ask them for a quote. I ended up towing it back to Salt Lake for $700, which was a great deal apparently. And then I took a Greyhound. So I ended up taking a Greyhound, and then it got here, and I do have a warranty on it, so there's some benefit there, but I might have to let you go. My brother's calling me on the other end twice now. It might be an emergency. Let me check here.
Okay, I'll call you back.
Okay, call me back, Lisa. Bye. You are being recorded. How can I help you?
Okay, what's going on, man?
I am boiling spaghetti, and I'm painting on a painting, and I just talked to Lisa, my old roommate and lady friend, and blah, blah, blah. I even recorded myself saying, "Happy birthday, Scott." And I told Doug after I recorded this long me painting video, I just try to send him the timestamp on it.
Okay.
Beyond that, I've been arguing like theology and these other philosophical concepts on Discord prior to, getting this phone call from Lisa, and then prior to getting you to the phone call, she's planning on calling me back.
Oh.
And then in my painting, that this woman named Hoops the King, it looks like I had painted this face, and then today she posts an Instagram of what I already painted. like I interpret it like that's her. Like that's her. And so I kind of shot a photo and I sent it. But my painting is pretty hedonistic. It's like it's a sex painting. Well, it's kind of a funky one. Like Spock is giving it to a one-eyed lady in the front, from behind, grabbing her boob. And some other guy's going down on some. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't ramble on this, but what's going on with you?
Oh, just getting ready for this webinar to start.
Oh, what are you looking at?
Just another business hustle, man.
Well, why don't you say happy birthday, Scott, right, in the phone, and then I'll just timestamp this one too. I'll mouth it, and
because I already said happy birthday.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. There you go. Well, there you go then. Well, that being said, so you're doing what? You're watching what marathon on what station?
I'm going to be watching a webinar.
Oh, a webinar. And what is it?
Just how to build a business kind of thing.
Well, are you watching on TV, or are you on the phone, or on a laptop?
On my phone.
Well, that's too bad, because maybe there's visuals that you won't be able to blow up, because some of the moving videos you can't just blow up.
Well, hey, at least I'm trying, right?
Yeah. I mean, you apprehend what you gonna, So I agree. Like, look for something, because what do we do otherwise?
Right. Everything seems to boil down to traffic, man.
Yeah, I mean, most things have to do with traffic, purchasing traffic, but then having a recursive email system that markets things that you throw out there, or at least some people like it would be nice if some companies just linked you to a page without trying to get your email. But they're all about your email. They're all about collecting that so that they can keep shooting you nuggets later on, which is merely a psychological manipulation technique of that which is chronological. And so, I mean, it's a sales technique of reiteration until people finally cave and give in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you find one that's nice and you're aware of that, and other people you think are aware of just that cave and give in thing, and this one they want to cave and give in on, then, so be it. But who knows in a deterministic universe if it'll work, but maybe you're right. Maybe it is all just about traffic, but I think it's also about maintaining the traffic by garnering emails, and then...
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the basic principle is email marketing.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, unless something has its own organic growth, which, I should open up and be active on a TikTok app and link it to everything else instead of doing long videos of this and that. And, it's like it's almost absurd on my part to not do one. But I haven't done one yet, but I realize there's a lot of traffic on social media if social media is used appropriately, but I don't use it appropriately. I don't even post my Instagram to my Twitter feed anymore because it forgot on its own my password, which it didn't before, and then I had a hard time getting the password, and then the whole thing just had a problem. It was a problem, and I never relinked it.
Oh.
Yeah, so, for what it's worth. But at the same time, there's a lot of other apps out there. You get so anyway, what is this one that you're looking at? What are you into on this one?
I'm not into anything on it yet.
Oh.
It's I guess it's approximately 2 hours. They're gonna frickin' build it from the ground up and show you what to do.
It's not Lerner, huh?
Jeff Lerner?
Yeah, it's not Jeff Lerner, is it?
No.
Oh, let's see. So, well, you might enjoy that then. I thought when you called back a second time that you were calling because there was some possible emergency.
No, I was just, it doesn't start till 8 o'clock, so.
Oh.
So I was just killing time.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and I feel like I'm just killing time, and probably I feel like I'm killing time the wrong way all around, and it's like my self-exploration is self-imposed limits on it. Anyway, how did the anniversary go?
That was alright. The hotel was so freaking just like COVID preventative, man. It wasn't even that fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. You know, people might want to fly down to Florida, but was Molly all like, ooh, nervous about being out in public?
Kind of. This is the downtown area where everyone gets sick.
See, that, well, you know, that's the thing. Given her any reason to presume that people are you know, contact tracing or touching or breathing common airspace without a mask is maybe just out of the face, you know, problem. Unless when you guys go out and eat, she, you know, is religious about taking one sip and then putting the mask back on, another sip and putting the mask back on.
No, it's not that.
Well, then the whole thing seems wonky and janky and hokey pokey, and that's what makes the numbers and the science and all this big fear like an overt and obvious fucking problem. You know?
No, I know.
But then again, she also has the vaccine now, so maybe she just trusts it and thinks she's going to be fine, and yada yada.
They're just, like I said, man, that this shit's just gonna vanish. I mean, it was all about getting fucking an easy puppet president in there, and now everything will just kind of fade away.
Well, I don't know. When they're talking about the new wave of corona, there may be something that's showing up again that's different. That's possible.
Yeah, they keep saying, oh, this strain, that strain, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even though I did feel really tired for like 3 days straight, I just slept and slept and slept, so.
Mm-hmm.
I went down and took a rapid COVID test, and there was nothing there.
Well, if you got vaccinated, you can let me know too.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but I was arguing that people's pets are culprits for passing this, and then I heard something that was why a cat wasn't able to pass this kind of virus or something, but it didn't seem like an adequate explanation. In any case, the whole thing seems janky still. To me, from my point of view, from my optics. But my optics include Molly's behavior, but then I just wonder when, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, she's got a lot of programming, dude. It's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I think it's probably different for every person. The programming.
Yeah, well, just the way she was trying to explain that whole Robin Hood GameStop thing to Kayla, I'm like, what fucking planet are you on, man?
Wow. Well, it's describable, but I think, if you didn't think it was adequate, then you might not think it was adequate. Or, why did she just basically say, well, they bought low and sold high, and I'll be at work, bye.
Well, something kind of like that. But it wasn't like, I don't know. I just got a different message out of it.
Oh, okay. Well, in any case, yep, different people think different things about different things, and there's not a lot to think about with regards to that. Meaning, trying to empathize with someone else's position is it's kind of a difficult thing to do. I mean, sometimes.
No, I mean, she was making it sound Robinhood was doing your general public a favor by halting trading.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? They just fucking halted trading because the fucking goddamn hedge fund managers were losing fucking shitloads of money.
That's
to your average Joe.
Yeah.
But she didn't even mention that to Kayla.
So did you?
No, I just let it run its course. I wanted to hear what I was dealing with fully before I even bring it up again.
I told Kayla she should watch these two things on blockchain investment, and I linked her up to them, and some of them have to do with trading. I don't think I mentioned the whole thing with that. I didn't mention anything about that. That's just a sideline. But, no, I agree with you. You know, I mean, that's the most concise narrative of the situation that I heard, is that it was like an artificial back-end stopping of the plebes from trading. So in a way, it's almost like letting us know that all of the programming and the economy is top-down, and that we now need to fear the complete tightening of the neural net, of the grand neural net that is the internet.
Yeah, it was top-down, but the thing is, it exposed the top-down. I mean, even the CEO from fucking Robinhood was like, see, it's not this, but I'm going to explain it to you, and the way I explained it is that it really is this, but I'm going to use these big words to confuse you.
Well, and I use some big words, and not all things are necessarily hierarchical, but it did seem as if it exposed, if it isn't correct, if it is correct, a top-down abuse, which they are complicit, meaning they have no business buying or selling GameStop or Association, and so the idea that they were doing something even possibly illegal, then the other side might have to argue, meaning there are accredited investor laws on the books for millionaires to trade assets, but this was an open asset purchasable by anyone that can purchase stock, so basically anyone with an account. So it did seem like a violation was occurring, which once again, if the top-down groups, if it's not Amazon and Google outlawing Parler, this one is hey, we're going to outlaw you guys from making too much money on their fuck-ups.
Well, they did. They made it so you could make one trade with one stock per day.
Oh.
On GameStop, while everybody else up top, the hedge fund people or whatever, had free unrestricted access.
Yeah, they probably have API trading bots like crazy on it. I mean, these guys just found, it's their communication, but I think what it is they reframe it as a mob attack of the fleas or something. And then they shut down the fleas from getting into their market. But if they're proving that the naked short sales are illegal, or that there's this overt, as far as transparency occurs for the trade, which apparently some Reddit knew what was going on, someone on Reddit did, that they were able to take advantage of that as a trading strategy. So it's benign, and it's open market, but this shows that it's not open market. Meaning it's more janky in our system. Our system itself is janky, meaning it's got a problem, and it's got to resolve to me, what it should happen is the government should have to set up a government free-forum website that mirrors the other websites. The problem is the government has no obligation to perform that function based on the Constitution. As a matter of fact, the idea of state-run propaganda forwarding any idea could be a problem. But we want a utility. We want a utility constitutional free right open platform, and yet the NSA and the encroachment and the vanishment of habeas corpus in the Fourth Amendment has essentially subsumed and come down upon us. And so, God be with our souls as we're trying to navigate the bullshit that's going on and figure out what the cure might look like or be, other than some sort of retooling of American Western law and property rights or something like that. And kind of a reassessment of things, such that accredited investor laws are removed, access to assets are also removed, and that gambling is still legal, and hope the welfare system doesn't have to pick up too much of anything that's on a gamble, like it did in my case. Look, I'll jump there, watch me land on that other planet. Boom.
Yeah, man, I mean, let's put it this way. Everybody fucking ended up selling off their GameStop stock at a profit, or tried to, and then dump the app.
Oh, and then dump the app. Yeah, that makes sense, too.
So the Robinhood trading app, and what, an E-Trade or Ameritrade, all three of them were fucking seeing record exoduses.
Well, that's good, because the market will defer, and the thing is my friend Justin, he uses Robinhood, and he was trading Dogecoin, and so it jumped up significantly. He put $500 in, and he pulled out $554 on the jump. And that's a digital asset, though, not a stock asset like GameStop. So it's a slightly different market, but the markets are becoming liquid and transferable through blockchain technology. So, and Robinhood is an app, and I don't know if it's blockchain traded. I mean, I know it is, but I'm just saying, obviously it's playing in that market too, and so there's nothing that they could do to shut down people accessing assets or wrapped assets. There's a thing, right? If you wrap an asset, you start wrapping something that's pegged to GameStop stock, right? Then you could actually formulate an artificial coin that always is traded, and every time it's traded, GameStop stock meaning you might have a recursive part of it where some of the profits are in stock purchases for the company, where the ecosystem becomes closed, but everyone that's got a share still gets paid, and so it's not a top-down.
Well, everybody has to get paid at the end of the day's trading. All accounts must be paid out, man. It's called margin call.
No, I don't mean that. I mean that. Like, if you go to Gemini or you trade on any platform, they're normally taking not just the gas fees, meaning that their fee, even if it says zero fee, there might be a small margin or bit of, especially if you're playing crypto, small, minute, subdecimal values that the company gets. And so the thing is, the blockchain itself being decentralized, it'll tell you exactly what your total fee will be and always be relative to whatever metric, or exactly the same. And so, but the thing is, it's a contract. Like, the program is not owned by a bank. It's put online. And once it's contracted on certain programmable blockchains, it's there indefinitely and infinitely. And it's not changeable in most cases, unless they're running a test net. But as soon as they launch it, the decentralized exchange, like some of these projects are, look, we're going to trade these coins, and we're going to use a coin to program the whole exchange. We're not going to use regular coding. We're going to use Java through blockchain encryption coding to decentralize the whole platform. And so, anyway, point is, I don't know if you're watching anything about crypto or about trading or what this thing is coming up for you, but, my point is that if the actual exchange is merely a programmable construct and it's free floating, then it itself, it's provable whether or not it's absorbing any fees, where a bank might just charge you another $1 and co-opt the fee. This one, you'll know exactly where it's at, and it's not changeable. And so the point is, if a whole exchange is decentralized, then no one might not get a profit. No, if it's programmed that no one gets a profit, Not the traders. The traders get the profit, but meaning the exchange, there's no exchange earning money on it unless it's part of an ecosystem and it's coin bound, token bound. And most of them are. And so anyway, the point though is there's plenty of these decentralized systems, and then some of them jump from exchange to exchange. So they're liquid co-exchanges. So Binance and Kraken start competing against each other on what their exchange of any coin is. And there's these bots, APIs all over. So it's like we're in the Matrix, right? We're finally being boiled down into our little Zionist Matrix shells.
Yeah.
And the government is in, everyone's addicted. No one's going to give up their cell phones and say, look, we're going to give up the cell phone and this whole apparatus, even though basically we want the overseers of our own country to like let up, like quit watching us. Let if there's a God, let God watch us. Don't you guys watch us and dictate everything and say like, hey, terms of service. Like you call, I told you I'm recording. I'm still recording. So anyway, the point is that if no one's getting paid for an exchange and it's free, and it actually does something, then that's DeFi. That's decentralized finance. And it's also DeFi is in defiance against the Federal Reserve and against the Treasury and against the hegemony of the US dollar. Meaning the dollar and Bitcoin as a para financial institution that's echoing and absorbing a lot of the trillions being spent now. Like blowing into a balloon, you blow the air from your lungs into a balloon, right? And that's kind of what I think. Like the blockchain is kind of absorbing certain things, so I can't really predict how the economy overall is going to go. I just know that it's being disrupted and it's becoming more. It's oscillating in dissonance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know it is because every time there's a problem with the economy, I always see military transport videos of tanks. Like today.
Very good. Like what'd you see today?
A guy recording a freaking military transport train with about 600 tanks on it.
Yeah. Well, you also live next to the Apache helicopters, meaning there's obviously more military being deployed now. They say it's going to the Atlantic Ocean, the Middle Sea, and China, but who knows? Like all the domestic missions, we don't know what the end result is of that, and so everyone wants to presume everything's fine, but it sure feels like this is a death grip of a cat that is partially perpetrated by a new establishment of domestic claims of their of terrorism upon co-opting somebody as a terrorist, even if they only qualify historically as a protester, and delimiting speech and speech patterns and narratives, but at the expense of trying to protect the integrity of the system, as to because the system is janky, they might be doing these controls to keep it from getting too janky. Like, look, we're still going to show you that we run the financial institutions, and we run, meaning the oligarchs, the plutocrats with the different corporations and the government being hand in hand, like the division of Facebook is like a division of the CIA, probably. So, right? It's like, look, we know we know a great deal about you because of all this data, and there's no getting around it. And no, we're not going to uncouple it. We're gonna quadruple down on it. And and so this occasion is bringing out the worst of some people and the best of some people, and some people are under huge stress. And I'm glad I'm in the circumstance I'm in relative to other people currently. Even though I don't know what kind of real devastations all the global shutdown is actually causing, and the food shortages and the preppers and the guns and and then tanks moving, as you say, whether that's internal or not.
Massive economical hiccup like that Robin Hood thing.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, I always see frickin' tank shit on YouTube for some reason.
Well, maybe you're just looking it up and it's a replay, but if it is brand new tank footage of movement, that's like...
It was like 8 hours old.
Well, meaning the grand AI or a grand military strategist, if trying to figure out how to take down a population or a group of people within a population in some way, would probably have some stratagem that deploying tanks and then letting other people like record it, not just letting them record it, but not being aware that what it is they're recording is a report that tanks are being distributed, because then that would incite a type of violence. So even before Corona, at the beginning of last year, there was this whole tank movements, videos, and so as far as the intent behind it, that's the part that we don't know, but we do not know. What I do know is that I don't like pulling together the implications of different data sets. Try to come to, the most simple explanation, even if we don't like what the most simple conglomerate of information is, but realizing that the insurrection was a type of overread in propagandized following of other people's words and beliefs, such that, you might not like the way Molly talks about the GameStop thing. Like a totally different paradigm, a totally different outlook, a totally different description. And maybe it's said in the way like, don't touch this is a problem, or no, you should investigate what's going on. But it's interesting that your daughter asked. You know what I mean?
I don't know what she asked. I think Molly was just telling her.
Well, I mean, the topic came up somehow, right? There you go, the rest. I'll leave that out here. But, so now we're out of earshot for recording, but so Molly was just talking, you were talking about Molly in front of Caitlin and asked Brian Williams, gumballs, and whatever. I don't know. So, well, anyway, that's where I'm at. Now I'm back out here again. So I did stretch another canvas on this piece, wanting to paint another like clown painting, but I don't actually know what it is I want to do on it. But the one that I'm painting now is very like it's a problem piece for me, but it's not entirely. I don't know. Like I don't get the implications. What do you do like a lover's delight thing? Clowns that come from roses for Valentine's Day. Oh well, I would. That's interesting. Clowns that come from roses. Or like fucking protruding through their fucking noses or something. I don't know. Well, and I don't know what if more clowns are needed to respond to a domestic threat by the federal government. I don't know whether or not you'd want more clowns in the gang or not. But why not? They seem to be as well put together as the next person. So, I don't know. That's me trying to get rid of clowns, but it's like embedded in me. Like I can't erase the fact that I've been a clown. I live partially like a clown, and the objective metrics of my life don't measure up with the sense of life appeal that I have on the inside. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm sitting back now from everything, thinking about what it is I need to paint next, and but the thing is, you still haven't told me what genre this kind of marketing. The guy's just selling e-education. Like, here, let me tell you how to get people's emails and send them out things and do digital marketing. It's how to collect them, generate them, and monetize them. Well, okay. Well, enjoy that. I hope you don't just jump on board any old thing, but you can always run it by me after you assess it and tell me what you think after the fact. fact, I'll be curious, I suppose. Yeah, give it a go. I'll hang up with you now. I think I'm gonna try to close down this video and all this stuff, but I gotta kind of hang up with you to do it all. All right. Well, have a good night, and we'll just pick it up next time. Okay. Yeah. Bye. Now let's see if I have Discord going again. Okay, thanks for being patient, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for now let's see where I'm at here. If anywhere.
By the way, is this guy at the bottom Venus?
Whom?
The guy with the unreadable characters.
I don't
know. Or is that
know.
just another guy with unreadable characters?
Well, that's difficult. So I don't have a note on them, but that sends me strong Venus energy.
I like how this guy's
in the same way where there's like a depiction of like a little girl like in a sexual position and like a weird name that's Method. Venus also has like an aesthetic, and it's always like a K-pop star and like weird characters.
Dude, some of the K-pop girls are really cute though. The K-pop women. I don't know why people think that. That does make it. Wait, they're usually like over 18. What do you mean? Oh, they're past puberty. Oh my gosh, Frian's unmuted. Hello. Are you there, Frian? How are you, man?
Pretty good.
How do you feel about this server?
I think people who don't know what they're talking about have too much power.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Oh, I just got a question, I guess.
What are you talking about?
Right.
I mean, why shouldn't anyone believe in things that can't be observed from observation? Why should we believe
as opposed to being observed from non-observation?
Well, I'm just saying, why should
what's the problem with that?
The things that aren't observed. Why should we believe in imaginary ideas? Why should we believe in that? Like, that's weird. I don't know why atheists do that. Why do they believe in natural process? It's weird.
Because they're not oriented upward, and because they don't have experience of the beyond. So, and they have faith in the text and ordination that is parasympathetic to the text.
Parasympathetic. I like that term.
What?
It runs along. It's the Jordan B. Peterson, like, God, I'm not real or not real. I'm just going to be really parasympathetic.
The parasympathetic nervous system is one of 3 divisions of the autonomic nervous system, sometimes called the rest and digest system. The parasympathetic system conserves energy as it slows the heart rate. So you're saying atheists don't have a heart rate?
No. I'm saying.
Yes.
Well, kind of. Meaning they're not believing in the system, but there's a way to look at the system without including the end goal of the system. I mean, they're not necessarily hierarchical. I mean, they're not implying the idealism is stacked.
What are you talking about?
They're missing the forest for the trees. Yeah.
Point of Godhead.
Are you an atheist, Mr. Lucky Me?
Well, perhaps.
Right.
I mean, there's we all agree processes exist, right? Because we do them all the time and reverse engineer nature all the time. Right. But the question is, why should we believe that there's a type of process that exists called natural process? Why should we even believe that's a thing?
Because science has an inclusive centroid. As soon as you start developing anything that gathers evidence and
inclusive centroid,
it develops a centroid which is just an idea. I mean, it becomes its internal ideology, and that by itself is free floating in a way. It's got a internal self-protective layer. It's like instead of you can be born out your mom's JJ, but let's say you never break the sac, the uterine sac, right?
Right.
And that's where they exist, right? They don't know what's on the
Of
other
course.
side, and they don't read it as such.
Look, guys.
Because I'm free.
Brian actually.
By the way, Jonathan, Lucky Me is as crazy as Bacon Bone and Canadian Catholic.
Are you serious?
As crazy as a shithouse rat, according to Jack, simply because they attempted to supplant reality with a fantasy, and
I believe it.
allowed myself to leap off of a roof and break up my bones.
Nice. He jumped off of a building, Jonathan.
I did try to.
It's not very convincing.
And he broke both his legs.
I did try to break the laws of logic by taking.
We're just getting crazier by the minute.
It's like a crazy competition.
So
pick between the violation and the contradiction.
Okay, I've come to the conclusion that Canadian isn't really crazy. Well, he is crazy, but he's not the same type of crazy. Like Canadian hasn't told me that he's planning to kill me.
No, but he still thinks that he was poisoned by cyanide and
Wait, what?
Yeah, you don't know this?
I've heard cyanide jokes. I've never heard it.
Cyanide poisoning. What are you talking about?
So what is the rundown on this? Excuse me, 1 second, bro. What's the rundown on the cyanide thing?
Well,
you don't have to keep reminding me. I keep waking up at night just thinking how awkward it must have been. I couldn't
Jack,
I don't want to.
You have survived cyanide poisoning, right?
Yeah, I have, but I'm not going to go into that. Detroit.
Is that done?
Yes. Canadian, you don't actually believe that.
Well, I kind of do. I don't actually.
Kind of do.
Yeah, I do believe that there was a merit for me to the acclamation. I'm not obviously saying that I know 100%, but I suspect so. Detroyer.
You suspect?
He suspects that
Detroyer.
Poisoned with cyanide.
I'm sorry, it doesn't sound any less crazy.
Didn't I say, Jack, that you died by drowning in a bowl of banana sauce or something, and then your friends got all big?
Why is Lucky trolling? He used to be such a nice guy somewhere else, but
he's not actually.
He's not.
He posted on my Facebook wall that
I'm sorry.
That I had died. And people.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't know. I didn't know.
People believed him. And then my ex-girlfriend.
Jack, what did you think? Jack, what did you think about Darth reconciling? Jack, what did you think about Darth reconciling with me?
What do you mean reconciling?
He spoke to me and he came in. He wouldn't tolerate me in the same room.
That was very pragmatic. It's not like he's changed his fundamental attitude or anything.
Darth reconciling.
Did he talk with Darth? Did he talk with Chris?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he did. That's Tom's channel.
Here, I'm gonna DM you the video.
Yeah. Oh, so Canadian Catholic. I like you and all, but bro, I was the first one. Okay, Tom might have beat me to it, but Tom also has a good thumb. But he's been doing this a while. Right? So all I did was record it. I tried to upload it one time, didn't work, right? And then I uploaded again, it worked. And I send you the video saying, "Hey man, I put your server link in here," and you just copied my video, re-uploaded it on your channel.
I think,
my recording,
ladies and gentlemen, for this particular recording, and because I have to get a timestamp to another brother, I'm going to hang up now, and thank you for tuning in to Mike Paints Crazy Shit and has funky conversations. Conversations, 5? Put Lisa Hayes, Jake, or Hazy Jake, Hazy Lazy, not Purple Hazy, Jay-Z, Replacey. Videos. And that being said, remember the experiencer class is the Hogwarts class, and yet you want to also not everything is the end of a Hogwarts enemy decoupling with whatever the great enemy was, who I forget. Right, one day maybe I'll read the text instead of just watching the movies. That being said, thanks for witnessing what you did, and leave a comment below, and remember that I'm your good buddy, the best that I can be. And as Kim used to say, here's to you and here's to me, and friends will always exist and be, but if we ever disagree, fuck you, here's to me.